Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear us now?
Yes, heard you say, can you hear me now?
All right, Justine, we're gonna do one more test because both Mimi and I had the same idea. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay,
Can
great.
hear you.
Thank you,
Just
everybody.
before you start, Tammy, I was unable to sign up online for the meeting. It's something about a Google Doc form that I had to sign in. I did it on my computer and my phone. Don't know if anybody else had trouble.
Just refresh it.
Refresh your browser and sign in, all right?
I'll keep trying. Thank you.
Thank you, and if you
Yeah, I
can't,
had the same problem and I couldn't figure it out.
hey, Wendy. Yeah, Wendy, nice to see you. If you are having troubles with the Google Doc, refresh your browser, please, and sign in again. It did look like it was down for a little bit, but it looks like it may be resolved right now, maybe. Because I am seeing some sign-ins. Okay, so with that note, we have two people who have asked to go first, which since we can't do first all the time, we're gonna let the gentleman in the room go first, and then Peter C. from the District Attorney's Office go. So, sir, please welcome.
Welcome, everyone. I wanted to
Introduce yourself, please.
Vincent Massarelli. I'm with NISM, which is the New York City Emergency Management. We're the CERT division. As a new elected chief for the Manhattan Division 1, covers from 14th Street down to Seaport, east and west, from river to river. We are the community emergency response teams.
Oh.
So if there's an emergency, we haven't had any knock on wood in 3 years. So in the meantime, what we do with our CERTs, we keep them busy with their parades, crowd patrols, whatever. We've done one center before for the mayor down here over the summer when they had government day out event. So basically, my job is to really come out and lead on for more work, whether it's with government, private sectors, non-profit sectors, the food pantry sectors, whatever it would be. That's what we do with NISM for the CERTs. There's the main branch of NISM, which is the Commissioner of SAC. They run that over at Academy Plaza. That's the main communication headquarters. And we are the agent for the certs under that through FEMA. That we do all the certifications. We're currently recruiting, so I can leave some brochures if anyone wants that. As the new elected chief, I'm planning to be pretty active for the lower Manhattan district.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Definitely please leave your information. We used to have fairly robust CERT teams down here, individualized per neighborhoods. I can imagine.
Yeah,
with
it used to be Tribeca and all, but right now we just, there's, each borough has, like, we cover 14th at Seaport, east and west. So it's Manhattan Division 1 with 3 districts. I cover that whole area. Then we have, Manhattan 2, 3, 4, 5, well, in all 5 boroughs.
Sounds good. And please don't forget Battery Park City, even though it's not city, it's state, it is city.
Yeah.
Sir, could you tell us what CERT stands for?
CERT is Community Emergency Response Team. So in this community, if there was an emergency, a fire, an explosion, we would be deployed out to do that. Like Sandy, or COVID, we went around, did buddy checks. We went around to make sure everyone was, safe and understanding the COVID when there was quarantines and stuff like that. So that's what, CERT stands for.
And I will say, post 9/11, we had several really robust CERT groups, but now we're 23 years later and a lot of the people are no longer. So it's a great time to restart looking ahead.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we're going to welcome Peter from the District Attorney's Office. Peter, go ahead.
Hi. Thank you, Tammy. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having us. Wish I could be with you in person. So I want to say, last night, myself and somebody else from our District Attorney's Office met with your executive board. We want to discuss proposed changes to the discovery laws that are being discussed up at the legislature this year in conjunction with the new budget. We've shared some of our recommendations and facts with the executive committee. Feel free, you can share it openly, what we shared with the executive committee. And we had some questions last night from Justine and from Mark, and I see Justine's on the call. We'll follow up with you tomorrow or before the end of the week, and we can answer your questions. Outstanding. So I know it's a long meeting. You probably have a robust agenda. I just want to touch base to see if anybody else had any more questions. Happy to work with you. As the questions Tammy asked yesterday, we are working with all the community boards in Manhattan to share these proposals. And bottom line is we hope you agree with these recommendations and support these changes. Bottom line, the reason we say when these discovery reforms were enacted in 2019 until today, on the misdemeanor count, cases that had to be dismissed jumped from 48%, I think, to 62%, was what we were saying, due to many technical aspects that we'd like to see tightened up. So that's the announcements I have with regard to discovery reform. And just two other facts, updates that Community Board 1 has been able to share with their community is it's all time to consider any students if they want to participate in this summer's high school internship program, or for college age students to participate in our gun violence prevention fellowship. Information I think is on your newsletter, or you can contact us. Thank you. Any questions?
I don't think as of yet, for those people who missed the presentation last night by Peter and his colleague Eric, I welcome you to listen to it's in the beginning of the executive committee, so you don't have to go through the whole thing. It's about a 25-minute presentation with some Q&A. We'll be doing a resolution next month on it for consideration, so get your information. Susan?
Maybe we could print out the leaflet he sent out that he gave us last night. We didn't put it in the packet tonight.
We can distribute that. We'll have Lucy distribute that to everybody. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Peter.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Tammy, that was in a lot of legalese, and there's another one that Garrett did.
Yep, we're gonna distribute, the forms that came, the draft resolution and some of the articles, so you can do some research on the pros and cons and all the rest of the stuff that happens to be prepared for next month. All right, everybody? Okay, here's what we're gonna have to do, because I don't on the Google spreadsheet have a before 6 PM or after 6 PM for signups. It's a little wonky, as we all know. So keep trying to log in. And what I'm gonna do is for anybody who's online, if you think you wanted to speak as part of our public session, would you please raise your hand, whether or not you were able to sign in? And is there anybody in the room? We'll go in the room. Welcome, please stand and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Anthony Hannigan. I'm looking for an update on the 320 Pearl Street shelter to see if there's been any news to the community board. And also to know if Robin from the mayor's office is online again to see if there's any update from her.
Great questions. Robin, I believe tonight Anthony is at CB3. We do have another representative from the mayor's office who's here because CB3 and CB1 operate on the same night. Let's see, we can certainly, she'll be here and she can answer that question. Okay. She's probably online is my guess. Yvette Bermudez, yes, and let me move Yvette over because I do see her. Yvette, I'm gonna move you over to be a panelist. And since we're a little bit out of order, as they say, with not knowing with the Google form, I'm gonna have Yvette. I've moved you over to be a panelist, if you don't mind responding to Anthony.
Yes, good evening. I'm Yvette Bermudez. I work in the Mayor's Office Community Affairs Unit. As you already heard, Robin had a conflicting meeting tonight, and I'm just here to listen and report back on questions that you may have. I do not have direct answers at this time, especially for that particular question. Robin did ask me to remind you that the application deadline for the 2025 NYC Youth Employment Program, the SYP, is this Thursday, the 28th. And this program is open to New York City youth between the ages of 14 and 24. Thank you for having me and allowing me to share.
Yvette, we're gonna ask you to hang on and stay with us. And please note, while we do understand that there's been some massive resignations among the deputy mayor's crew, we once again reiterate, we would love a deputy mayor to come to the quality of life meeting to discuss the opportunities of 320 Pearl being turned into anything other than a safe haven.
Yes, I will remain on the call.
So
Thank you.
This is the third month in a row that I've come to the meeting,
That's right.
ask this question, and I get the same kick the can answer. So it's extremely frustrating that it seems like the mayor's office is standing completely idle. And I want to let everyone in the community board know that the contract has been signed. So while the mayor's office is doing nothing, you are telling me that it's okay that my 3-year-old now has to go to a school that has to do sweeps for needles every morning before she goes to school. I don't understand how that's consistent with some of Mayor Adams' other directives. He's talked about wanting to make New York City the best city to raise a family. How am I supposed to do that when she could pick up a needle at school or be exposed to any number of dangers? 2 months ago, Mayor Adams went on a field trip with Dr. Phil to the subway system because he wants to be a part of street outreach to homeless people. The first person Mayor Adams went and spoke with became aggressive and violent towards him, the police officers, and the case officers that approached him. One person became violent. Mayor Adams is quoted as saying, you don't know how quickly these situations can turn violent, how he felt comfortable in the situation because he had 2 uniformed police officers. So if Mayor Adams is a grown adult, a grown man, and he only feels safe because of 2 uniformed police officers, how is my 3-year-old daughter supposed to feel safe? So this is the 3rd month that I've gotten no answer from the mayor's office. Every single time you'll do the same thing, you'll talk behind the scenes, and you'll get back to me, and it's nothing. Your office has been sent thousands of letters, and you can't address them.
The mayor has.
There's a petition with thousands of signatures. There's a lawsuit that's been filed where hundreds of people have donated their money to try to get the mayor's office to listen, and there's been 0 response.
So Yvette, I know that you're probably very uncomfortable, and I'm not feeling necessarily bad for you, and I apologize for saying that because you have an entire community that is uncomfortable with thousands of people. The fact that the mayor's office doesn't feel this, I'm not sure how to get this across. But if he's going to deal with people's safety and security as a real estate deal for the best and highest bidder, without having conversations and connections with the community or even fixing or looking or addressing anything, it really does not give the community any faith because, yeah, although Anthony's been in the room 3 months, we've been talking about this for 4 months, I think, or longer. And since July,
There's an election coming.
the buck stops at his desk, and that's the answer we want. We want an answer from City Hall. And please explain, no offense to you, we don't want you, we don't want Robin. We'd like a deputy mayor, if there are any still left, to come and show up at a meeting and discuss in real terms, somebody who has actionable power to act. Can you share that message?
I will definitely share that message. Your concerns and everything that you're saying tonight, I will take it back to them tomorrow.
And demands, concerns and demands, sorry.
We are past concerns. We are at demands. So, I mean, really, actionable items. Susan and then Jared.
We have written a letter.
We've done all kinds of things, not just us,
Yeah.
but the community.
Yeah, as the community, we've written a letter.
Yes.
Maybe it's time to write another letter. Tammy, I know it's like this, pardon me, in the wind, but
If they can't get.
if they can't, well, nobody can, but I think we should do it.
I have no troubles with that.
And CC all the electeds, as we
Yep.
always do.
And maybe we should just CC everybody running for election as well.
Absolutely. I think that, and our congressman, everybody.
Yeah.
New York one.
Here, here.
And New York one, that's a good idea.
Jared, you're next.
In all
Yeah,
seriousness,
agreed. Very much so. Agreed. Good point.
Justine, you're interrupting. Apologies. Jared has.
in all seriousness, given that resignation, who is the deputy mayor or the interim deputy? Who does the buck stop with?
They are still currently acting. We have not been told their resignation dates. So we would be going directly to,
No,
Isom.
said they'd stay around a little bit. To go on
Yeah, with
record
a copy
as
to whoever's, of the deputy mayor's office who is working with DOE as well. I mean, we know this is a problem. The mayor's office and the head, and DOE granted emergency transfers for kids. So, go ahead, Andrew.
So apologies if this has been discussed and I've missed it. Is there any role of the governor's office here, given the state of play in the city?
That's a really interesting legal question. This is a full city contract and city RFP fulfilling and city, everything is done by city contract to a private developer who bought the building. So I don't necessarily see, but I, again, am not an attorney. I would rely on the attorneys that we have on the board to try and find a pathway. I think it's an excellent question. I know.
They did respond saying that they're not gonna get involved.
Oh, well, there we go. So the community advocacy group is telling us they have already reached the governor's office who said they're not stepping in, which is sad.
where is our public advocate in this?
You know who?
Not here. The public advocate has made a statement that was not, considerate. I'd be happy to review that again, but, yeah,
Maybe we should.
we should review that again and maybe he can talk to Kenny Grant. After he called the community a group of entitled white people. So, yeah.
Well, Kenny should have just gone by himself. 'cause
Yeah,
she had
Kenny
some other
could have.
people.
All right, moving on to the next person. Thank you, Anthony, very much. All righty. Do I have anybody else in the room who would like to speak as a member of the public? See, this is what we do before we have technology to help us. All righty, now I'm gonna look online and see if there's anybody here. Got Anthony, Vincent. All right, let's just see. Watch your snickering on the side, please. I can hear you loud and clear. Okay, with none of those, let's open up. We're gonna close the public session at 6:34. Okay, and we're gonna open up the public hearing on citywide statement of needs, SON, for financial years 26 and 27. Do I have anybody in the room who would like to speak about the citywide district statement of needs? Sorry, that's good. It's like, when we're on. Okay, do I have anybody online who would like to speak? If so, please put your hand up. Okay. I'm gonna give it one full minute so I can, make sure we've got everybody. Hearing and seeing no hands in the room, hearing and seeing no hands online, we're gonna close the public hearing. Please note, if you have anything that you would like to add for the citywide statement of needs for fiscal years, please email our board office and Zach Palmer. All right, so let's move in, because again, 6:35, we're gonna start the business session. All right, so let's do a roll call for adoption of the 2025 minutes. Yeah, go. Where's my district manager reports using on these?
Pam Russo. Blaine.
Like, yes.
Thank you. Brown Kennedy. Thank you. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell.
Giselle, yes.
Thank you. Chang. Thank you. Chapman.
Chapman, yes.
Thank you. Charcudian.
Arcudi, yes.
Thank you. Cole.
Cole, yes.
Thank you. Coleman. Corman.
Corman, yes.
Thank you. Kucha.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you. Curtis.
Curtis, yes.
Thank you. Flores.
Flores, yes.
Thank you. Mimi, yes. Thank you. Friedman?
Friedman, yes.
Thank you. Broman?
Broman, yes.
Thank you. Galloway?
Galloway, yes.
Thank you. Goldstein? All right. Good kind. Hernandez? Rashad?
Yes.
Thank you. James? Joyce? Kay?
Yes.
Thank you. Canal?
Lady.
Copel? Lerner?
Turner, yes.
Thank you. Lewinson? Lynn? Lyon?
Lyon, yes.
Thank you. Meltzer?
Yes.
Thank you. Minsley? Moore?
Moore, yes.
Thank you. Andia?
Andia, yes.
Thank you. Portia Corey? Robinson?
Robinson, yes, and happy Black History Month.
Yes.
Rossi?
Rossi, yes.
Thank you. Scott? Shear?
Chair.
Here.
It's the other one. It's where you say different things.
It's for approval of the minutes.
Oh, yeah, I'm into it.
Star? Sung? Jimmy Sung? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Vera Sung?
Yes.
Thank you. Terry? Thompson? Your Marcus absent. Townley?
Townley, yes.
Thank you. You?
Yes.
Thank you. Zelter?
Zelter, yes.
Thank you. All right, we have quorum.
I missed the roll call, Minsley votes yes.
Oh, you did miss the roll call.
Me too.
So,
I think I did too.
all right, so
Hernandez?
Yes.
Minsley, Moore?
Minsley votes yes.
okay, is there anybody else who missed roll call going through the list? In the room or online? Okay. Moving along, let's do the updates from our elected officials. This evening, we've got, I believe, Lily, who is online. Is Dan in the room? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you. All right, and I have Carlos as well online. So we're gonna start with Carlos from Congressman Goldman's office, then go to Dan, and then go to Lily. Carlos?
Hey,
take it away.
hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, good to be here. I don't have a whole lot today. We are receiving a lot of calls from federal employees that have been affected by the Musk, Trump, Doge impacts like at the moment. We're working with them. We had a meeting with a lot of employees last week to discuss what they're going through and how we can help them combat this. Right now, we're just documenting. We're going to be hosting some kind of a roundtable with government employees soon. Also, next month, we will be hosting a second town hall to address these issues. It's most likely going to be after the State of the Union address. And we're also working with nonprofits that are being impacted by the funding freezes. Some people are still having issues there. So if anyone knows of anyone who's impacted by either funding or who's a federal employee, please have them contact our office. I think that's it for now.
Does anybody have any questions for Congressman Goldman's office? Alice Blank.
Yeah, hi, Carlos, thank you. I just wanted to highlight something that we wrote about, which is that the board never received a notice about the Army Corps' public notice for reviewing the Battery Park City Authority plans for the entire Northwest Resiliency, which was supposed to be a public comment due March 7th. We happened to get it through a colleague, but we were surprised that, what I'm saying, your office didn't receive it either. I would love it if you could confirm that. And
Yes, we did not receive that either. So I can circle back with you offline. But yeah, we got the same. We found out when you guys found out.
Yeah, it seems a little, bit of a critical oversight, so
Yeah.
thanks for looking into that.
Or
So, hi, I wanted to know if it's accurate that all the funding for 9/11 has been reinstated? That's right.
Is that for me?
yes,
Nobody else.
Okay, I can get back to you. I have not heard about that yet, so I can get back
That's
to you on that.
because all of us here are survivors and we live in, the area and, people who have been impacted, their health has been impacted. We need to make sure that the funding remains in place.
Absolutely. Would you mind just messaging me directly your email so that I can circle back with you with a response? Thank you.
he also needs to circle the whole board because it affects,
Everybody.
more than.
Okay, all right. I'll respond to you, Tammy, then, and then we can share that with everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, it represents about 50% of the current board members were here around 9/11 or affected in some way through family, friends, or whatever, so it's still very prevalent. All right, next, Alice?
Yeah, one more, sorry. Yeah, just, in light of Black History Month, we had a presentation at the board about, a new foundation that's gotten its 501(c)(3), reviewing the new potential use of the museum or some sort of thing at the African American Burial Ground. And it was a little unclear as to really what is going on there. So it'd be really helpful if your office could outline precisely what this foundation is doing and how we could move forward on acquiring 22 Reed Street potentially for the museum and educational building. Thanks.
So
Okay,
that's
yeah.
20 Reed Street for the foundation, okay?
Got it. Thank you.
If you have questions, John will help you on that. Justine, you're next.
Thanks so much. This is for Carlos too, for Representative Goldman. Just following up with what Pat said. Beyond the funding, they also cut staff to the World Trade Center Health Program, and I saw in the news that maybe they rescinded that, but I don't know. So I would love to know what is going on with that beyond the funding for the actual people who are getting money and keeping that funded and the victims' compensation funded. What about the staffing? Because I think I heard someone say on the news, it's like going into a coffee shop and having all the barristers, whatever they're called, fired.
Yeah.
And they're not there. So how do you get your coffee? Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else in the room with questions? Mimi?
Hi, in the same vein, the CHIPS Act is supposed to be a big deal for New York State. And getting status on, whether or not the staff have been cut to administer that would be really important for those that have been expecting to try to get jobs, in tech in New York.
Are you aware of the CHIPS Act?
I am sorry. I'm not sure if they've been impacted at this moment. So I can I'm writing all of this down and then I can respond to the board with answers on this.
Appreciate it. And just for the congressman, if he finds out anything and decides to tweet it through your offices, you can always tag us so we hear the most, relevant if that's your bailiwick. Right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, Cody.
Or blue sky.
Yeah. Cody, you're next.
I just wanted to know, in light of President Trump's attempt to kill congestion pricing, is the congressman doing anything to exact pressure on this violation of the state's sovereignty?
Oh yeah, at this moment, the most that I think what we've been doing is just talking, speaking against the administration's overreach. Right now, however, I don't think there's much that we can do as far as legislative side of things. So yeah, that's what I have for you right now. Sorry.
Great. Okay. As you can tell, Carlos, welcome aboard. We are a robust board and we look forward to hearing more from you.
Of course.
Feel free to reach us anytime.
I will have more answers for you guys next time. Or sooner,
Awesome.
actually.
As sooner would be great. Thank you. We'll go to Dan.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Dan.
I will spare you a long report, but I did want to plug our event that we're having at Manny Cantor. It's an information session for the senior citizen rent increase exemption and the disability rent increase exemption. I have some flyers, and it'll be an information session for those programs. We're doing it with the Department of Aging, Grace Lee's office, and Marte's office. We're doing it this Thursday at 2 p.m. And I think, Zach, I forwarded you the information about it, and Tammy too. But you can come up and talk to me if you're curious about these programs, and all the questions.
That's cool. Dan, is that Scree?
Scree, oh, yeah, Scree and Dree. Great.
Eric?
Was the income, were the income limits changed?
Or not yet, no, we have legislation, and, it's something that I brought up, I think the last time, or maybe the time before. We're trying to get an increase. I don't think the number is set right now. We wanted it to be, definitely tied to inflation at the very least. But I'd have to check with our housing director. We want it to be higher.
Okay.
Certainly higher. Right now, it's $50,000.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give us that information. When?
Yeah, it's at Manny Cantor Center, Thursday, the 27th. Is it the 27th?
Oh, so
Yes, it is.
It's this week.
Oh.
At 2 p.m. Sorry for
How
that.
late?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, Tammy and Zach.
What time?
At 2 p.m.
Great, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Alrighty, do I have any other hands up in the room? Seeing none, do I have any hands up online? Seeing none, Dan, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Lily is here from Deborah Glick's office, and her audio is back online, which is lovely. We do have Deborah Glick's report in the back of the room, so if you haven't picked it up, please do. We have a link for it for those online, and of course, we'll send it out afterwards. Does anyone have any questions for Deborah's office? Seeing no hands in the room online. Lily, anything you want to say specifically, or are you good? I'm gonna go with silence is good. Okay. So now, do I have anybody here from Assemblymember Lee's office?
Alex.
Alex.
Hi.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Yeah, my name's Alex. I'm with Assemblymember Lee's office, reporting here from Albany. It's another late night at the office here. I don't have too much to update you. I think we'll definitely have more ledge updates next month. But we've been fighting for the priorities of CB1 here in Albany as the Assembly prepares their one house budget. In terms of in the community, as I think many of you know, we had our Lunar New Year breakfast in February that I know Tammy was able to attend, and we were so happy to have her there, and so many others. And also we had our Black History Month event last week with Assemblymember Epstein, which was great. In terms of specific legislation, you can see what we've introduced right now on the Assembly members website. I'll give like a quick update because there's a lot more there, but we've really been, we're looking to prioritize legislation that is really going to help with affordability in New York State. So we just introduced legislation to eliminate the credit card interchange fee that's been popping up so much. You have situations where the actual credit card institutions will charge a fee on top of tip that's supposed to go to workers, and it also hurts the small businesses who have to pay that tip as well, and a lot of times they'll put that burden on customers. So I know for the holidays when I was going out to dinners with my family, and then I went to go pay, try to give a Christmas gift, I would see that. I was like, oh, what's going on? And I was like, oh, wait, we're trying to do something about that. So that's something hopefully we're pushing for. It's seen some success in Illinois and other states. And yeah, a bunch more legislation we're working on right now, more concrete updates next month. We're just getting through the budget process right now. But if anyone has any questions, please let me know. And also I'm going to put my email in the chat. So please feel free to reach out.
Alex, hang on. You've got Justine who's online who has a question for you.
Perfect. Yeah, I see that.
So much. Hey, Alex, how are you? Nice to see you.
Good. Yeah, great seeing you as well.
I am reaching out to ask you a question about Battery Park City, which I am well aware is outside of Assemblymember Lee's district, but I do know that Senator Kavanaugh has put forth I believe he's pushing it forth through committee to get forth a bill that passed the Senate last year, but never actually made it out of committee in the Assembly last year. And allegedly, Assemblymember Fall is going to be presenting it this year
Okay.
in this legislative session. And I guess my request, and it's a request too for Lily for Assemblymember Glick, who used to be Battery Park City but is no longer. It's about affordability for people who make less than either 130 or 150, I believe it is, of area medium income. And it's for owners in Battery Park City that would freeze the increases in ground rent if they were eligible. You're not talking about 1 million people. You're talking about a few, mostly seniors and people who are trying to age in place even in their homes. But the taxes are pushing people on a fixed income out. So, I'm happy to talk to her if she has questions about it. And again, it's not her bill. I would love her to sign on to it. And I guess that's what I'm asking. And I'm also asking Assemblymember Glick to sign on to it when it comes forward, if it comes forward. And it's, I don't think anyone from Charles Falls's office is here today, but if they were, I would just love it. And any questions, I'm here to answer them. Thank you.
Wonderful. I made note of that. I know Assemblymember Fall's legislative team pretty well, and I'll talk to the member about co-sponsoring. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And Lily, pay attention. Thank you.
All righty. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And thank you so much, Max. I think, Andrew, are you in the room still? Yes. Andrew Chang from the Borough President's Office is next. And then Max will be here in about 15 minutes from Councilmember Marte's office. I told him, even if we started the robust part of the business session, we'd let him talk.
Hi,
Please, at CD3.
Andrew from the Borough President's Office. First off, I've been emailing folks who need to reapply for the community board if you're eligible, if your term is up this year. So please, reapply. And if you're not on the community board and you want to apply, please do so. Term limits will take effect in about 2 years, so we want new folks to join and learn from you all. And we are also recruiting folks for our solid waste advisory board. This organization deals with composting, sustainability, recycling. They're all volunteers. We handle the application process. I believe Ushma is also a solid waste advisory board member, and she serves as community board 1 member. The deadline to apply is Friday, the 14th of March. Applications are on our website. March 14th, Friday. And we're having our State of Borough address on Sunday, the 23rd of March. Save the date. It will be in the, I believe the West Harlem Morningside Heights area at LaGuardia High School, 100 Amsterdam Avenue. And then, more information on our website, you can RSVP, but I will also be emailing everybody the State of Borough information. And I guess the last 2 things I want to mention is that we have a Know Your Rights resource guide for the community. It's translated into Spanish and other languages. Please get that out to folks who may feel it's useful. We're also doing an in-language Spanish Know Your Rights workshop on Monday, the 3rd of March at Henry Street Settlement's Dale Jones Birch Neighborhood Center at 269 Henry Street at 1 p.m. And lastly, regarding congestion pricing, this is related to congestion pricing. We are advocating for a residential parking permit system in New York City. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine and Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa are working to advance this. Intro 0674-2024. This would require DOT to create a residential parking permit system for the area of neighborhoods north of 60th Street, right outside the congestion zone. And this includes Inwood, Washington Heights. So this would give residents priority for street parking. For Manhattan to implement this, we need approval from Albany and state government. And that's my report. I also have a special document for.
Yep, come on, we're gonna do this now for Bruce. All right, for those of you who do or don't know, Bruce Ehrman retired as a full board member at the end of January. He has now graciously agreed to stay as a public member, but just on landmarks as his baby. He has been with the community board for 25 years. This is not a see ya. This is a thank you for your service. Thank you for staying for a bit. And especially in something like landmarks, it is an incredibly difficult and ever-changing committee. You would think that things stay the same because it's landmarks. But based on zoning and changes and current administrations, there is a requirement that it morphs while retaining what we all love about our historic districts. So that's kind of, I think, a perfect description of Bruce as well. Although chats and on other things. So we wanted to make sure that we honor Bruce without saying goodbye, but saying thank you. Amber?
Yeah, so on behalf of the Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, we have a proclamation for Bruce Ehrman. I will quickly read this. We have a lot of, we try to include personal anecdotes and information in our proclamations that we give out. So, we are proud to acknowledge those organizations and individuals that are committed to improving our city and enriching the community. And whereas Bruce Ehrman has lived in New York City for over 50 years, including over 35 years in the same Tribeca Law Department with his artist wife, Sandy, together becoming activists for landmarks and preservation in the neighborhood. And whereas Mr. Ehrman is a child of Nazi Germany refugees and Holocaust survivors, and an activist for human rights and social justice, having marched in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s For People's campaign. And whereas he obtained a Bachelor of Arts in English from Columbia University, interned under former Manhattan Borough President Andrew Stein, right here in this very office, and worked many years as a newspaper and television reporter, before spending over 30 years in the residential real estate industry in Manhattan and Brooklyn, including involvement on the Reed Street houses, the first new single-family townhouse row south of Canal Street, 125 years. And whereas Mr. Ehrman has a passion and love for architecture and design, as well as urban planning, having served as a consulting party to the federal Section 106 process at the World Trade Center site, as a Lower Manhattan Cultural Council Board of Director, and as a Manhattan Community Board 1 member for 25 years, including 20 years as chair or co-chair of the Landmarks and Preservation Committee. And whereas he will be remembered by his fellow community board members for his impeccable fashion sense. Cisco and Ebert, thumbs up, thumbs down approach. With former board member Roger Byram.
Yeah.
And for his staunch sense of justice and fairness, especially when handling taxi cabs for others, with his body halfway in the cab. And whereas despite how intimidating Mr. Ehrman can be upon first impression, he was like an onion with many layers that can make your eyes water, yet he's sweet. And his peers will remember his incredible acumen, forceful nature, dry sense of humor, and wealth of institutional knowledge and expertise in preservation advocacy that has shaped Lower Manhattan to this day. So now therefore, I, on behalf of Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, do hereby commend Bruce Ehrman for his contributions to the city and proclaim Tuesday, February 25, 2025, Bruce Ehrman Appreciation Day.
Yeah, it's a lot of it.
Okay, this is Jason's phone. I can't look at one of these.
It's a nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
I really appreciate it. I just wasn't expecting this. I can only say that, I have regrets because, the community board is part of my life. It really is one of the things that that's made up my life for a quarter of a century. And, I'm of two minds to leave, but it's time. And I realized after the last presidential election that, although the nation may be in terrible danger, this community board still has real agency, more than what's going on nationally. I mean, we actually can do things at this local level, and this is so important. I'm proud of the community board. I have to say that after 9/11, it's this community board that kept Lower Manhattan together. There was no other entity, not the borough president's office, not the governor's office. It was this community board. We became the de facto governing body of downtown Manhattan. And it's because of the community board that so many people stayed and didn't abandon the neighborhood. It just, I've been thinking about the accomplishments this board has made. It's incredible and it's meaningful. And I hope it continues. The last thing I want to say is there are lots of people over the years, I'm not going to go, who've been allies and cohorts, and I have to just call out John Petrarca, who always mentioned, who preceded me, who died an early death and meant a lot to this community. It's a long list of people who did a lot of work here, and I just hope you continue, and thank you for everything.
So we are very, very grateful that Bruce is staying on for landmarks. If anybody from the committee has a love for landmarks and you think, wow, that might be really cool, because look at Bruce. Talk to him. You can hear the best and the worst and all these amazing fun stories that he has to share from his wealth of knowledge. So thank you, Bruce. All righty. So with that, let's move on. Let's see if Max is online with us yet. And if he's not, we're gonna move into, although it's not on here, I promise we do have a district manager report. Can we see Max online yet? No. Nope. All right, let's hit our district manager report. Take it away.
Okay.
Slides.
PowerPoint comes up. Reminder that tomorrow is conflict of interest training at 6 o'clock. If you have not signed up for that, please sign up to attend. It'll be a special election year training. So you'll get various information on electioneering and anything surrounding elections, but it'll also cover all of the regular COIB things too, and you can ask questions at the end. COIB, as they're known, have generally the most entertaining presentations, and they're very funny and interesting and informative. So I encourage you to join. Next slide. So 100 Gold Street, the survey is still up, and it is up until this Friday. So if you have not completed the survey,
Here, let's do it this way. Who from Community Board One has completed the survey? Okay, if your hand is not in the air, I'm coming to find you. If you have, do not say something in a meeting and not participate in the wider thing. We have an advisory opinion on 100 Gold. You must fill out this survey for EDC. This is your time. It's a do or die kind of a gig for getting your opinions out there.
I put the QR code up for ease of survey access. And this is open to all the public as well. So feel free, if you're on the public and looking at this, feel free to fill out the survey also.
Share it with your significant other, spouses, children. There's no age limit to participation. High school kids for what they'd love to see for their future, younger kids. I don't care. Share it very widely with the local community, please. Coworkers.
You can leave that slide, I guess, for a minute, and I'll just roll into the next one. New York State DOT study of West Side Highway, Route 9A. And you can switch the slides now. The tour is tomorrow. where you will tour the various segments. Several of us have signed up to do this tour. It's at 3 o'clock. If you're interested in joining this tour, the deadline is passed, but if you reach out to me, I will connect you directly. But you have to touch base with me tonight if you want to do this walking tour for any part of the southern turf of the West Side Highway.
You could go on the other sides, but
What's that? Oh, yeah, yeah.
on February 27th, there is 1A to 3, 1A to 2B. So if you're interested, if you work up that way, you're interested in that, even though you're down here, you can certainly do those. And just to clarify, because I have the same slide that Zach does on this, it is a round trip. So if, for example, you're in 4A, you start at Canal Street, walk down to Chambers, and then walk back up to Canal. It's down both sides of the highway.
Walking toward.
A walking tour.
Next slide. Okay, so this is what I'm calling a report from the field. This is a complaint that came into the office. As you can see, that little red mark there is, this is Park Row at Worth, looking north. And you can see that security gate marked in red was not functioning. And so these articulated buses had to swing around in that green line there and try to line up with that bus stop and would not line up properly. And so people couldn't get off the back bus in the rear and be on the landing. So we reached out to NYPD and we got that gate repaired. And it used to have to be a police car that slid back and forth to act as the gate. So we're saving the city money and helping people out at the same time. Next slide. Next slide, please. So the next one, okay, this is something from the board that you guys all did in a resolution in January. You recommended that the 5G tower located at 95 Wall should not be located there. It went to SHPO, which is the state agency that reviews this, and they turned it down successfully, so the board was successful. And then Bolden appealed it, and it was upheld. So this is a community board success from resolution. And that's it for me.
Okay, Andrew has a question.
Can you mention how long the conflict of interest training would be?
Sure.
Approximately?
I don't know, I think it's
Let me take a
probably
look.
an hour.
I think, is it?
Yeah.
I think an hour.
Are you
looking for that? Will it be recorded?
If you Yes.
See it?
If I tell you, will you not come?
Yeah. No, it won't.
So no comment.
And tomorrow's walking?
You can ask me,
Thursday?
Thursday.
Yeah, what time? What time is the walking tour?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 to what time?
4. It's 3 to 4, 4:30 for the walking tour, and then there's a debrief session, which
No, it's a total time.
an hour and a half.
So 3 to.
3 to 4:30. They think that, they don't have any idea how robust all the walkers will be, so
Right.
they don't know how long it could take. It could take less, it could take more. And then there's a group of people going up to Pier 57 for debrief, but we did get a virtual debrief because, for example, Betty, myself, many of us have to go to, and all of the community board has to go, 1, 2, and 3 have to go to the POID. So you can't be in 2 places at once.
Okay, so I'll go. Where do I meet you?
Talk to Zach offline.
Yeah,
after
you
that.
gotta pick
And
your
then-
segment and then.
Yeah.
And then the conflict is an hour, you think?
Yeah,
So that is what time?
6 o'clock online.
I may not be able to do that.
Right now, that is the main COID one that we have. I think, was trying her hand up on midnight? Ashma, your hand went down? Okay.
I was just saying I filled out the gold survey. That was it.
Ah, thank you. Yay. Everybody in this room, just saying, I'm coming for you. All righty. Next slide. Okay, my report. Black History Month, Lunar New Year, everything's been a heck of a month, so thank you very much. I attended both Assemblymember Lee's Lunar New Year breakfast with several of my colleagues from CB 1, 2, and 3. It was really fun. And the Black History Month event, where Mariama was one of the co-hosts with Assemblymember Fall and Councilmember Marte, it was a great event at the African Burial Memorial Grounds.
Yes.
We had the service in the rotunda. It was such a great celebration of history, culture, and achievement for the people. Each one of the hosts, as you have here, had nominated 2 people. It was really a lovely event. I think the CB1 members who showed in force, with and without spouses, doesn't make a difference. It was great to be supportive of our community. So thank you very much. I really appreciated it. And it's been a kind of a busy month. And I even have a nice little vacation. Francis?
And most people just look at that as the outside and what's outside. Please, go inside.
Yes, yes.
It is off, I mean, it's a lot of history. It's very moving for me. And it's a shame where it is, because there's no way that people know that it's there. And as many times as you walk by the building, you don't even know that all of this history and all of this stuff is right on the other side of the wall. So please.
Yeah, go to the museum. It's not like it's gonna take a ton of time. Great way to spend a day, a half day, a couple hours, really lovely. I learned, that you should only be bringing white flowers.
Yeah.
Not
Correct.
pink or
Yeah, they
red,
shouldn't have.
which I didn't know. So, I mean, it's fun to
went.
learn new things and
And I
to
have
explore Lower
It's
Manhattan.
worth seeing.
So, next slide, please. Justine, go ahead. Nope, you're good.
Clapping and saying, yes, I agree with you. I've been inside it. It's wonderful. I wasn't talking. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, this is again the reminder about the DOT walkthroughs for tomorrow. Contact Zach. You can email him, or text him, or any way that you have to get rid of him, or just.
No, reach me tonight.
Right, all right. And so everybody understands what this is. This is the State Department of Transportation study of mobility on 9A, looking for ways to improvement, which includes everything from, remember, they control not only the road, but the bike lanes. So it's a combination of a discussion about that for micromobility, trucks, cars, bicycles, and resiliency. We are praying and hoping that they look at the ways to protect 9A going all the way up to 59th Street. Okay, next slide. So we have this conversation with a variety of board members throughout everywhere. We have one small sliver of our neighborhood that actually can help do cleanup. And that is what the Downtown Alliance has a team for. So I'm going to remind people, we're hoping that we can find a partner who will do the northern part of our district as well. But if you're wondering why some areas look a little shinier than others, report graffiti or vandalism if you're in the catchment zone for the Downtown Alliance, to contact us at downtowny.com. Thank you to Jared for working with US Postal Service to try and get some of the post boxes, without graffiti and change and things like that. It's astounding to me how graffiti has kind of overcome everything in Lower Manhattan. For DOT, if it doesn't affect the ability of the functionality of the sign, they'll get to it, but it's not a priority. But the Downtown Alliance is making cleaning up the place a priority. So please.
Oh, I got that. Got location on,
Email them
Okay.
from there and they will take care of it. Jared?
We talked about this bunch, but if there are others that want to join in the spring, when the weather gets nice, do basically a survey of specific locations that we can give DSNY and DOT.
And kind of do a cleanup zone. So, we're gonna work on a little suggestion box area for a Google form that says, please put your ideas in here for places that need to be reported and cleaned. And you'll have to tell us, is it, a street sign, a mailbox, determine a storefront, an
I'm
empty.
just saying, if a couple people want to get together and hit the streets.
Yeah.
Citizens on patrol.
We could definitely do something. Go ahead, Gabby.
I think it is fine.
So the Downtown Alliance is east to west, south of Chambers, from the south side of Chambers, but does not include the seaport.
Got
They have their own, so if it's within the Seaport District, it'll be a topic to come. Next slide.
Just the seaport. You
Right.
don't count.
Which, hang on, makes us understand, one, please, renew your membership. I have an email ready to go, but there's no term limits yet that bother any of us. We need new members to come on, and we need the current members to train new members, because we need to have that transfer of knowledge. So if you were here and your attendance is good, please renew your membership. We'd love to keep you here. And with the conversations for 2025, Seaport Entertainment Group will come, and we can talk to them if you have any graffiti notices around the Seaport area and it's in their zone, they'll take care of that as well. So, yeah, we're trying to cover everything as much as we can. 100 gold, fill out the survey. Long-term planning, we had an initial discussion with George James about working on the framework for urban planning project from CB1. What do we, based on our district needs and everything, what do we think we'd like to see based on our zone? What would we want for zoning changes? What would we want? Instead of having the city tell us, what are we looking at? What do we want? What are we adding? What's still missing? So if you want to be a part of those calls, please email the office and let us know. It'd be Urban Planning CB1 Working Group. All righty. And again, May 4th, we're going to do a holiday spring get together. Send us your ideas. With that, I close my report, and I'm going to ask anybody who has arrived late, which includes Joel, Netta, Mark, Tricia. I don't know if I've missed anyone else. When we do the first vote, please call out your last name and the vote. Next slide. Maps, are you back yet? Evening. Nope, I don't see Max yet, so rolling along. Alrighty, reminders for full board. We got out so well last time that, our goal is 2 hours. Next. Yep, okay. For executive committee, we are looking to take all of the sidewalk and roadway cafe applications together. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 241 West Broadway, 33 Peck, 33 Leonard, and 385 Greenwich. In an ideal world, we'd take them all together for a vote. Does anybody have any arguments on that?
Call the question.
There are 4 sidewalks and 1 roadway. And the person who has the roadway is, oh, wait, did I count right? 1, 2, 3.
No.
3 sidewalks, 1 roadway. The roadway, is not, the Seaport Hotel are not gonna do a sidewalk. They have confirmed that.
Can we split the roadway and the sidewalk?
What?
And the
Fine.
both?
You can, I don't see any reason.
All right.
I don't see any reason. You can abstain or, all right.
Or vote for whatever, Mark.
It's in your packet towards the back, Betty.
Here, you can have mine.
Hey, guys, quiet. I can't hear Betty in the back of the room. Betty?
What happened to the provisional okay last night? We're required to make changes and submit them before tonight's meeting. Did they ever do that?
They all agreed in the meeting before they left to the changes. Every one of them agreed orally online. So, did we receive all the revised diagrams yet?
Between last night and today?
Yeah.
No. But I included all the changes that they agreed to.
Right. They agreed to everything, so we have it on. If they go back and change it, then what will happen is they'll get denied. But for right now, they agreed to all the changes we discussed last night, so it would be exactly as the votes are for all approvals with all the changes.
And so with each of those resolutions, we'll go, sorry, with each of those resolutions, we'll go the revised plan.
Right, and they're, correct, they're approved with modifications. That's how everything goes. And if they don't agree to the modifications at a later time, DOT will, or the city council person will let us know, because it goes to city council after us. All right, any other questions? Seeing none in the room, seeing none online.
Sorry.
No, Alice has.
No, I don't, are we voting on all of these four?
Together, yes.
No, I think that.
Do you have changes or comments you need to
Well, I
make on
haven't
any of them?
been able to get through them all because there's so many of these, so I have definitely on some, but I'm not sure on those, so I guess. Oh, okay, so then I
Different
do,
from last
so
night?
on 33, okay.
So the
just-
ones we
there's
did
a
last
small
night.
amendment.
Question. I have a question. Are they
Yeah.
different from last night's?
No, these are the ones we did last night.
No, I'm asking Alice.
Well, they definitely are missing things, as I'm going through them, they're missing some things, I mean, they're excellently written, no criticism here, but they're just, like, they don't say that they're not applying for roadway, or that they're not applying for sidewalk in some, and just here and there little things.
Okay, so-
So,
so
let's
tell me-
go with it.
Put your comments, because
Okay.
by the way, the DOT application doesn't care if they're, we can put whatever we want, but it doesn't transfer on to if they're
Their
applying for
approval.
roadway or, or sidewalk, because DOT has determined that they're separate is fine. That's our perspective, not.
No, I appreciate that.
Okay, so which one?
Well, I didn't get to 41 West Broadway, but I assume it's okay.
Okay.
Somebody else might want to look at this too, that was there last night, or has been following this closely. Again, these are permanent for 4 years and probably forever. Removals of your sidewalk for the restaurant purposes, which might be grand and might not, so just to please be reminded to review it carefully.
Okay,
You can bring
so
that
again,
way as much as you want.
241 West Broadway, 33 Peck, 33 Leonard.
Pack, it should say that the applicant attests that they are not intending to apply for a sidewalk cafe. That doesn't seem to be here, so could we please have that added?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Where else is that in? Excuse me. I'm talking about 33 Peck Slip.
Yep, the second.
Okay, so that, we're adding that. Okay.
Okay,
Then on 33 Leonard Street, I think we're okay. Yep. On 385 Greenwich, a couple of things. The third whereas, this has to be corrected. The applicant agreed to have 6 tables and 12 seats along Greenwich Street and 8 tables and 16 seats along North Moore Street. Yeah, and they actually, it's on 15 and 30, so I've been
Okay.
counting.
got
And
it.
then, the committee is concerned, about the placement of the outermost table on the corner of North Moore, a very well-trafficked corner that is that is in the crosswalk to the Hudson River Park.
Can they take it out?
They took it
They
out.
took it out.
They took it out.
That one they took out. They took out.
Well, that's not identified here as specifically.
These what?
Yeah. The applicant has agreed to move that table to be placed against the building. However, the location of the sprinkler in that spot requires a 5-foot clearance for DOT. So does that mean that they're gonna put it illegally against the building?
No, it's not illegal against the building.
Oh, it isn't? I thought you said you needed a 5-foot clearance.
The,
Actually, yes, for here it is.
It is. Yeah.
oh,
It's not.
okay, so then,
Yeah, that didn't come up last night.
No, it didn't.
So I wanted to highlight it there.
Okay.
So it's up to you guys now if you want to have it remain there or remove.
so for 385 Greenwich, the committee considered table applicant agreed to move it.
But
To-
upon later review, it's recognized that this location is not allowable.
However, they can move it in closer to the building. It just needs to be a 1.5 foot from the sprinkler. So they
Yeah.
can move it.
Okay, so whatever that.
Okay, we'll clarify that it could be X number of feet from the.
And then lastly, the applicant stated that they are not applying for a roadbed cafe.
They do, isn't this,
They are.
Square Diner, they have a road.
They already have
Okay.
it. They're-
Guys, let's follow along here. This is 385.
385 Greenwich is, Eve's application.
Eve's application, okay, right, and then, I think that was it, except for 24 Harrison Street.
That's not this yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so now with those three that Alice has some minor tweaks to, and all four, again, 241, 33, Peckslet, 33 Leonard, and 385 Greenwich.
Susan, I have a question.
Call the question, it's been seconded. Again, we're doing a vote by affirmation, except for those who did not arrive for attendance. So if you have missed attendance, let's do your votes. Capel?
Yes.
Corey?
Hold on. Sorry.
Sorry.
Propels, yes?
Yep. Corey is yes. Amoruso?
Yes on 241 Broadway. No on 33 Peck. No on 33 Leonard. Yes on 385 Greenwich.
Thank you. All righty. Joyce?
Yes.
Great. Is there anybody else that I missed who came in late? James? Hold on. James, we're voting on 241 West Broadway, 33 Peck, 33 Leonard, and 385 Greenwich for the side from Rosebud.
Yeah. One last
Yeah,
night.
okay, so that's James.
Yes.
But I think Hernandez, you did.
I did?
Yeah,
he did.
yeah,
I
you
did.
got you the first round.
Making sure.
Okay, anybody else? Is there anybody who joined us online who was not with us for the first roll call vote? Hearing and seeing none.
Sorry, I need to give an abstention and a opposition for mine. So
Yeah.
for 33 Leonard Street, no, opposed. And then for 385 Greenwich, abstain.
Are there any other abstentions, recusals, or no votes? Hearing and seeing none in the room? Great. Bruce?
I'm not leaving, I'm getting a
Oh, okay, all right. All righty, there you go. Okay, the Trust for Governors Island came and did an economic update on the RFPs that are currently out and a full comprehensive understanding of what parcels are active, what parcels are in development. I am not going to go through it all. This is my 2 minutes to tell you to go listen to the recording. It was really nice partnership for them to come and to update us and be very transparent and clear. We did learn some new information that for those who followed the resiliency projects, we really need to keep our eyes on the prize for the new terminals that they have. They said they need one more slip. They need to make sure it's electrified and that they have car access. And so far, that's not been what they've seen. So that's a good thing for us to know and remember to advocate. All righty? Cannabis Control Board. There was, I hear, it's gonna have to wait. So we did a public comment on 1,000-foot rule last year. They came back to change the 1,000-foot rules that they put forward to, in part with some 500-foot rules. So our comment last night and the points that we raised and went over were to review what we have already said and add comment to the current, because it is different than what they put out from, I don't know, how long ago? 3-4 months ago?
Yeah.
And there was no public comment prior. So if you take a look at this resolution, it would be sent with the first one.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we had 5 recommendations. We oppose the new rulemaking unless they are amended with the following 5 regulations. Does anybody have any questions on this?
It's well done.
I like short and sweet. Okay, anybody have any questions online? Okay, hearing and seeing none.
Call the question.
Second.
All right, this is a vote by affirmation for everybody. So are there any no's? Are there any abstentions?
Amoruso.
Amoruso abstains. Thank you, Mark. Any recusals? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes. Thank you very much. We already heard about discovery reform, so I'm not going to comment on that again. Again, we have much work to do for that for next month. 10 South Street. So Max came from the Battery Maritime Building, as well as Gigi from EDC and Craig, who works for Constant Cipriani. It was a really fascinating discussion about public access and public bathrooms and the cafe that's there. Raise your hand if you have gone over there and been able to have a cup of coffee in their cafe.
Or even gotten in. Gotten in.
How many people have been able to go over and be let in?
How many people tried to go?
How many people have tried to go in?
There you go.
Okay, well, here's the good news. Apparently you can go in, and we shared with them back their slides that they showed us in 2022 about what their access agreements were, which they were a little surprised to see. But they did say that they would be working more transparently, put signs up for public, things like that. So there are times that you can actually go toward the Great Hall escorted. And there are days on the website that you can take a look and sign up. You can still show up. If you look and it says that it's a date that's open, you don't have to make a reservation because that's.
And you don't have to be escorted. You only be escorted for the tour.
It's escorted for a tour, or you can go to the cafe, or you can use the restrooms.
Or the little gallery to the left.
Right.
They didn't know about.
How they have. Yeah, that was so.
I couldn't resist.
It was hilarious. So our recommendation is that every member of the community board
Go as a
join
community.
This is, and bring your friends and bring your family and try and go visit this beautiful historic asset that's supposed to have public access.
Use the bathrooms.
Use the bathroom, go have a cup of coffee.
9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very convenient hours.
I'll go to 9 to 10.
There are some days with extended access and they will have a public exhibit this summer. And they did promise to update their website with more transparency. We'll send around the link to the website and all the copies from the 2022 access so everybody knows. And hopefully we'll see you there. And if you can't get in and are turned away, please
Let us
know.
know.
Please.
All right. On that, I end our executive committee. Thanks so much. I know it was tough last night and I really appreciate everybody's work and partnership.
Madam Chair, can I just,
Yeah.
30 seconds on something that was an executive committee?
Sure.
It was an application for 57 B Street for a cannabis store. If they hadn't withdrawn, it'd be about 60 or 70 people right here right now to speak on it.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to thank Chris Jarrett. He was very helpful. Wanted to put it on the record to thank him. And it was a well-organized effort to stop it, but he got lucky and dodged the bullet. Otherwise, it would have been here at 10 o'clock.
It doesn't mean they're not coming back.
Okay.
They might come
All right.
back.
And as Susan,
This has nothing to do with anything except that Mariama arrived. And I wanted to give her kudos for helping organize the Sunday's event at the African Burial Ground.
you missed your, you missed your picture up on the.
But I wanted to say it publicly.
Yeah, it was a great event. All right, and with that, we're actually gonna go to Max, who's here from Councilmember Marte's office in between going to the next committee. Max, you're on.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I really apologize for being so late. I had a personal commitment that went later than I expected, so I'll try and keep things going quickly. So I'll start with some quick land use updates from our office. So first, as you know, Dining Out NYC is starting to roll out, and we're working out some of the kinks with DOT. And so one of the issues we found is that there's this FDNY waiver that has been given to several outdoor dining setups on narrow streets, where basically this grants an exception to the required fire access path, which means that some narrow streets are being allowed to have more outdoor dining setups than fire trucks might actually allow to get through. And so we've, and even the fire department has told DOT that this is a problem. And so Councilmember Marte and Councilmember Bottcher are working together to write a letter to the DOT and the FDNY to get clarity on what exactly this waiver is and, how we can stop it. Because especially, Fidei, Greenwich Village, where we have these narrow streets, if fire trucks can't get through that is deadly. And so, hopefully we can get that figured out. And as some of you may know, the Manhattan Borough-based jail draft contract is making its way through approvals, but it's actually not available publicly unless you make an appointment and schedule to see it in person. And so the council member believes this is unnecessarily complicated and blocking access to what should be public information and a really important document. And so he's requested that at the very least, the document be shared with the elected offices so we can see it. But yeah, he is continuing to advocate against the construction of the new mega jail, and wants to make sure that, yeah, there is transparency throughout this process. And last month, as was presented to CB1, HPD and the mayor are planning to sell off 100 Gold Street, the current HPD offices, to a luxury developer. And so the council member is opposed to the sale of this site unless the buyer is committed to building and 100% affordable housing on the site. Despite not sharing any details as to the affordability requirements, the building programming, the height, if a rezoning is going to be involved, right? There's no details, but the city is planning to issue the RFP next month. And so the council member remains opposed to this plan and will continue to fight for 100% affordable housing on any public property in District 1. And then quickly, some legislative updates. So this Thursday, Councilmember Marte will be introducing legislation to ban the use of artificial grass, or otherwise known as AstroTurf, in city parks. Over the past few years, we've seen a kind of troubling trend of the Parks Department taking fields that were longtime real grass fields and switching them with turf fields, or when building new parks, using fake grass instead of the real grass. And this is a problem because synthetic turf contains dangerous chemicals like lead, has microplastics like PFAS. They can seep into the air and the water. We've seen on the east side of our district, along the East River, that a new field turf, when it rains, all the plastic, rubber, the little gravel things actually flood into the East River when there's heavy rain because of this fake grass. And so we'll be having a press conference in support of this bill on the steps of City Hall Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. So we'll be joined by a number of environmental activists, parks advocates. And so, we welcome you all to join us. I think, we're seeing a lot of support for this bill before he even introduced it. So we're excited for that. And then also something I mentioned back in September that we never ended up actually doing, but we are going to now. So Councilmember Marte will be introducing 2 resolutions in support of 2 crucial housing legislations in the state and Congress. So first will be a resolution in support of Assemblymember Emily Gallagher's Social Housing Development Authority. This will be a new public authority in the state government that would be able to self-finance and build permanently affordable housing built publicly with union labor. And that's expected to be able to build, new affordable housing across the state. And then second, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has a similar bill in Congress to create a new federal social housing authority under HUD. And that would also be able to create millions of new affordable homes across the country. And so we'll be having a press conference on Friday, the 28th, this Friday at 12 p.m. on the steps of City Hall, along with other elected officials, housing advocates, labor and tenant advocates. And, we're hoping that, passing these resolutions, especially in the state, can help move them towards passage. And then just really quickly on budget, we will be having participatory budgeting. That should be in the next couple of weeks. You should see that kind of to be announced in the voting. And on April 10th, you can save the date, we will be having our Local Law 97 info session with the mayor's office and the various Local Law 97 assistance groups. And so, yeah, we'll be sending information on that in the coming month as well.
Okay.
We're gonna refresh. Yeah, I can slow down. You're talking.
Sorry, I know I came late and I was all I didn't want to take up too much time.
Max, can you make Brendan's job a little bit easier and send him your notes?
Perfect. Yes, I will do that. I apologize.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the date again for Local Law 97? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, that's going to be April 10th at 6 p.m.
Alrighty, Mariama goes first and then I'll go after Mariama.
Yeah, I'd like to understand more about the waivers if there's more information available, like by what determination or whose determination was it decided that, on which streets people's family members could die for the sake of a restaurant?
So that's a great question. And that's what, they're working on the letter for. Because again, there's been no real understanding of how this waiver came to be or why it's there. So yeah, we're hoping to get clarity on that.
I'm gonna let Zach talk a little bit as well, because behind the scenes, we've been pushing from the office perspective with Inej, myself, and Zach back on DOT to understand, because what we asked for from DOT was the width of the streets.
Right.
And they said, oh, but you can find that online. Yes, I, as a community board member and the office, can go into the Zola maps that DOT controls and do the tool measurement to figure out what the measurement is. However, I don't know if there's already somebody on the other side of the street who's applied. I don't know what kind of parking is on the other side of the street to understand what the variables are, nor should the community board be in that place. And quite frankly, me personally, and I don't know anyone on this board who has said, we want to make it more complicated for a fire truck to get down the street. We have fought for decades to make sure that we get the placards off the street, that we get everything and anything out to enhance our emergency services, and especially after 9/11. I mean, we know what this is to try and get through the local tiny streets. Zach, we stuck him in the fray for the dining out to be the one to ask, because he's much more polite than I am.
I think, the piece of information that's the most difficult for the process is these applications come to the board first. The board, we have to weigh in on them. And then DOT makes a decision whether they need to send it to FDNY to get a ruling on, this waiver. And to me, that's backwards. They should, let FDNY make a determination before they come to us. And then, the community board can review it after FDNY has reviewed it. So, I've said that this process is backwards, and it's putting the community board in a difficult position where they're trying to determine street widths, on our own, and figuring out if these should, comply with FDNY regulations when, it should be FDNY ruling on this first.
Maybe we need to add something until they fix it that says like, we approve contingent upon the street being whatever width or something. It was ridiculous.
Well, we shouldn't actually even be saying anything if it should go to FDNY before us.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because it's a waste of time and energy and talent. Richard?
Can we go to FDNY ourselves?
No,
What would happen?
we get no answer. It's a
They
DOT
say they couldn't-
application for an FDNY waiver that is not subject to public purview, is what we've been told thus far. We're asking, that's why Max and the team are on it.
And, when you ask them what their reasoning is speed on their end. This is the fastest way they can do this because, you might have seen in the press, they've been hit a few times for being behind and slow on the process. And we have gotten errors in multiple applications that we have gotten where they're missing documents or, documents are just in error. So, it's been a tough process thank all those on licensing and all those who have had to handle this. Thank you for your time and patience on this.
Andrew?
Does the fact that the process is backwards perhaps suggest we approve application without understanding the impact of
No,
access?
it just means that we might have approved something that FDNY, will then deny. And,
I'm worried about something they might deny. It's not, that is great. I'm more concerned that they give a waiver because they see the community board having supported it, we support it without understanding.
We've actually made that point to FDNY, that we would prefer to hear from them first. And since they're still kicking around the can of, whether it's a chicken or an egg conversation, and DOT has specifically pretty much said, you don't control the seat, that's not your purview, that's FDNY, don't worry about it. A little bit patty on the head, but yeah, that's why we're hoping through the council member's office that we could get changes. We don't know what provides the details for the waivers. We've asked. And I think we circulated in December, maybe, the memo that came out from FDNY. Which basically says that they feel it's an issue, they won't grant it, and they really don't think that anybody should be able to get a waiver, but they'll consider waivers.
No, I think your point is right, and that's what I was sort of alluding to, the difficult position it puts board members in trying to, measure street lengths on Solo.
Maybe there should be a local news story about it.
Mimi?
So can you say more about how we can see the contract with the borough-based jail contract? You said that we'd have to go see it in person. Can we all
Yeah.
sign up?
Yeah, I'm not myself. Again, I would check with Connor and connect you there. But yeah, I think you have to like schedule an appointment with like the office that they're holding the contract in, like go in person to this office and see the contract. So I can, yeah, kind of connect with you tomorrow and to figure out, yeah, who exactly, how you schedule that. But yeah, that's basically how it works.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how we could all do that.
Alrighty, anybody else have any questions in the room for Max? I will make one comment, Max, when you're talking about AstroTurf versus real grass in our parks. I do understand that there are benefits to everything, but I would loathe the fact that we have defunded New York City parks to a point that they cannot maintain grass, and that the only places in New York City that can maintain grass are a pay-to-play, AKA fields, right, done by sports teams, or someplace that is really robust, meaning they have robust fundraising partners. It really does not, it's not a good look for City Hall, where they look to take the one of the only major parks on the east side and AstroTurf it because of budget cuts to the parks.
Awful. And AstroTurf isn't so healthy for kids.
AstroTurf is not healthy for kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
it's not
definitely.
healthy.
And yeah, you know,
Depends on the AstroTurf, I think, is the answer.
Yeah, but it's so expensive for what the city's gonna pay.
We have bitter experience in Battery Park City, how grass does not work for soccer, or football, and barely works for baseball. I mean, it just doesn't work. And so we had an outcry in Battery Park City when those fields were grass, and strong demand that they be converted to artificial turf. And I don't know, people have been pleased with the turf, right?
It just, if the purpose of the space is recreational activity, it's probably a multiple of 10 times more utilization. Grass goes down when it rains and the fields get muddy. If they're used while they're muddy, they can go offline for 3 or 4 weeks.
yeah, so I can, I can speak to all those kind of things quickly. Yeah, so on the budget side and the funding, definitely agree. We've already been talking with some of like the big parks groups like New Yorkers for Parks, League of Conservation Voters to kind of tie this bill with like a greater funding ask, to make it part of the budget that, and even maybe even including language in the bill. And then on the right, a sports field turf versus grass. Again, that was something we thought about in the drafting process, and we had different versions of the bill, kind of including different potential caveats. But again, we're kind of, waiting to introduce the bill, talk with the Parks Department and the advocates and see what we can work out with. But, we've considered all these things, and, we're already talking with kind of the big players to make sure that when we introduce it, we can, work something out that addresses all these things.
And just one quick comment, if I might. And sorry, Tammy, I wasn't,
Keep going, Andrew. You got it.
So I don't know if the stats exist, but I would try and pull the statistics from the Central Park field, which again, they exist for outdoor recreational use, to see how many days they were down this past summer. I think you'll be surprised by the number of days they were not functional because it had been a heavy rain on Monday and they still weren't open on Saturday and Sunday.
And I think pursuant to what Andrew's saying, Max, it's a question of where. It's always a question of, the devil's in the details. You don't want artificial grass in the picnic areas, but potentially in the middle of the on the baseball diamond itself, that might not be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But again,
Totally.
Yeah, budget and access. Anybody else have anything else for Max, either online or in room? Oh, Lord.
Reaffirm what Andrew just said, because I play in the leagues in Central Park, and if there's rain on, my league's on Monday, if there's rain on any kind of Thursday, previous Thursday, 90% of the time, the game's on Monday, we had a lot of rain that time.
Awesome. All right. With that, Max, thanks. I understand you're doing dual duties. Maybe someday we'll get it all straightened out so we're not all on the same night. All right?
I appreciate that. Yeah, so apologize for being late, but thank you for accommodating me.
Not a problem. Okay, so for land use, Patrick is running late and Netta is here. Netta. Hi, do you mind, because Patrick is, in a meeting and has sent me a note saying he doesn't think he'll be able to get out on time, giving a brief report for him, with Downtown Alliance and the National Entrepreneurship Week? If not, I can help you,
Yes,
because he texted me.
so the Downtown Alliance presented their quarterly report. Some of their findings is very interesting. The amount of vacancy that we have downtown is worth looking at, and perhaps we should look at it as well and come up with a plan on what we're gonna do with. I think it was over 40%.
There's a lot.
Yeah. You have the largest vacancy in the store.
Yeah.
While, I mean, for me, it was interesting because Midtown is relatively doing okay. So.
Madison Avenue is.
And then the other thing that they commented is that the conversion from commercial to residential is nearing 8,000 apartments.
No, of course.
All luxury.
At $47 is medium rent, according to Broad's. And it's,
Okay. And then, there was a second presentation that was really interesting. Hold on.
On the commercial to residential, is there any tracking of how much of that residential was ground floor?
No. And if the ground floor has a POPs, the POPs are required to be retained.
Yeah, just curious.
Right.
That would be interesting.
Private,
Show the attitude.
private development gets to do private.
whatever they want.
Right, so there was a National Entrepreneurship Week event, that came to us from the Tribeca Small Business and Entrepreneurs, AI and Legal Panel. I think we sent around a flyer on that earlier in the month. It's a growing little group, and we hope that they grow a little bit faster to help with vacancy rates in Tribeca as well. Anything else, Nana? Awesome. Okay, Dr. Betty Kay. 2 reports for transportation.
Yeah, do I get to see the slide on one? I need to queue.
Give me 1 second. Okay.
I'm done. No. Who's puppy?
Yeah, we had 2 presentations and I'm going to be very brief on both of them. Community Corridors, More Resilient City. I recommend people watching. Why? Because the Municipal Art Society is the group that presented it based on their research. And they have done a lot. They have stood over 100 years for many big things, changes in New York City, making it a better city. So their view on greener corridors and specifically what they're interested in are the arterial roads that are non-highway. What does that mean? The arterial roads that do not have limited access, such as in our district, West Street and Canal Street, both of which are going to have redesigns going on over the next 2 years. It'll be well worth it getting a little bit educated by seeing some what they have to say, being prepared for those 2 presentations. Although we have more roads than that. We have Broadway and Water Street as well.
And sure.
As far as the New York State proposed legislation, we're going to continue it a bit with this. This is talking about the registration of e-bicycles that are used for commercial purposes. Very specific. Want to look again at, I think it's going to happen next month, looking at commercial purposes bicycles. Because again, that is where our elected officials are really going at the city and the state level. The question is, are we going to support this? Do we support anything? We support, because we've been asked also to get input on these pieces of legislation, all because they're still in the process of being developed. So, everything to say, look for it on next month's agenda. Thank you.
Will this be on the agenda next month for resolution?
As far as I know, yeah, well, possible resolution because they're making no agreement whatsoever.
Agreement with who?
Amongst board members, among committee members.
I mean, say greener or whatever the board does, does that mean more economic? How was green used? Does it mean actual greenery or some other aspect of green?
They did, that is their exact name. The report is online. It's very interesting to watch. And it's, anyway, I can get you the links to that. It was in last month's agenda.
Yeah.
But they are talking about greening in that sense as well, but they're also looking at less pollution. So they do look about multimodal changes. It's pretty all encompassing.
Betty, if you don't mind sharing the links, we can have Lucy or Zach send that out for the full board. So everyone could have an opportunity. If they can't attend transportation, again, we can gather questions, send them in and have a nice back and forth. So they come prepared with information.
Yeah, and keep in mind, if you go back to the agendas or future agendas, you can put in hypertext for everything where you can go directly and look at things in advance, because my committee members like to do that.
Perfect. Mark?
Yeah, this proposed legislation, we should definitely opine one way or the other. Should be, thing. I mean, we should opine on this. I don't know, probably no one in this room hasn't really been hit by it, but
Oh, I got it. All right. Okay, any other questions for Betty? Let's move on to licensing. And first, I want to say a huge thank you to the board this month, because we had a massive amount of restaurants come to licensing. We were not going to have a quality of life committee, but because of the amount and the push, the Department of Transportation is pushing out because of the deadline, all their roadway as quick as possible. And with the deadlines the way they are, there is no coordinated opportunity for public comment. So either we take it and pop it into quality of life or executive, or we don't opine and you get what you get. Kind of what we had during COVID. So I appreciate everybody's flexibility and willingness. A special shout out to Susan and to Francis and Gabby, who, kind of review it no matter what committee it's going to. So thank you.
I want to, go on.
And we need your help. I mean, we all live in this community and we can't go everywhere. So if you're passing someplace and there's a sidewalk cafe or a roadbed, kind of look out. And if you see anything, give us a heads up and let us know, because it's very, very overwhelming.
I always give Alice's, but she's right a lot of the times, because if we don't know all those places, and it needs a lot of eyes to go over this. It's really important, everybody. And I want you to understand one other thing. They have told us we have to separate sidewalk cafes from roadbeds. And Alice has a point, and I want to acknowledge it, that they both should be together, because we can see how greedy the restaurants are. Because we suffer. We can't walk on the streets. There's all this noise that people complain about on the corners. So thank you, even though sometimes you're a pain in the ass, but thank you.
I think we should consider a resolution in your committee to approach the DOT, because it would be a tremendous boon for this
I'll
board
be
and for every
delighted,
community
yes.
board, not to have to look at two things every single committee meeting.
And you lose perspective. You
So-
really don't see what they're really asking for. And we begin to ask, well, how many seats do you have in the interior? And then you hear they had 50, and then they're getting 100 outside. And that's a lot at the community's expense. So you have to understand that.
So with that note, Nash, please take a note for March for licensing. There are two topics that we're going to put on that are not related to the applications. One is a rule change request to DOT.
Correct.
And to put together all the things that we think need to be changed. And the second would be about the FDNY, and that they actually take a look and opine before it comes to us.
Absolutely.
So therefore, it would necessarily potentially cut down. If it needs an FDNY waiver, it goes there.
That's done. Well,
Yeah.
no,
All right. Once you pass those in March, I'll report it in Borough Board, and we'll see if we can get everybody else in the borough on the same page. Okay?
Yes.
All right, great. So
So-
with that note, take it away.
I would ask you, other than 136 Edwards, which is both sidewalk, cafe, and roadway, which I would keep out to do separately, since it's I would do that. I would, unless Alice has any questions, I thought we went through them all. I would take them all together, except
I have one reminder for everybody.
Okay.
Terroir and Fresh Salt.
Yes.
Their application came in just before full board, in January 19th, and it was missed. So we heard it in licensing and we submitted based on what we have. If we need to change anything on
Correct.
our Fresh Salt, it had to have been put in on the 19th. So we would just have to go back and just so you know.
If somebody has a question or anything. Otherwise, Mark, ask.
If there's one resolution that covers a roadway and a sidewalk.
It can't, no.
No.
They're two separate
Different
applications.
resolution.
Yeah.
But you can just have them back to back in the package.
Yes.
That's
No,
what,
correct.
Okay.
okay,
There is, Mark, an application process that they have that allowed the restaurant to apply for both
Right.
and pay less money
yes.
because they were applying at the same time. But what the DOT has determined is because there's an April 1 deadline for roadbed in the year for the year, they are pushing all roadbed out first and not sending them as combined assets and leaving it to the community board to figure out.
Yeah, well.
And it's, it's complicated.
Yeah.
All right, Alice,
Yeah, I have a few things.
please, Adam.
Wait, oh, no, show something.
Oh,
We do have, I think there are two resolutions in the packet that are for both roadway and sidewalk. They can be in the same resolution as long as there are no specific changes to either of them. But if there is a change to roadbed that is different from the sidewalk, then they'll have to be separated because they go in as two separate things to DOT. But on our resolution, it could be on the same.
I only saw one.
I think it's Edwards.
Yeah.
and- Edwards and who else?
It would be not.
Just Edwards.
Susan, 24 Harrison, just, we don't have the number of chairs. You have 5 tables with chairs. Doesn't say the number. It looks like there's 10.
24 Harrison?
Yeah, just a note on that. I
Right.
have all this if you.
Hold on, say it once for the record so we can record it. And then we can add all the notes in afterwards.
Yes.
Okay, Ellen?
Yes, I'm thinking twice for the record. Okay.
Okay,
So on the 25 Harrison,
24 Harrison.
excuse me, 24 Harrison. Glasses back on. Roadway Cafe has 5 tables with chairs. I would just identify the number of chairs, and it looks like from this drawing, there are only 5 chairs, but I'm assuming these are 2 tops. You
Yes,
might want to confirm that on edge. Okay. I think, nothing on that. Hang on a second. Yeah, on, 25 North Moore, just to, on the second to last, whereas the original roadway cafe, the committee was concerned about the lack of service path and the applicant agreed, not the committee, but the applicant agreed. Okay, these are just sort of, that was on 25 North Moore. I'll send these all to you.
Second to last, whereas.
And
Yeah.
Francis are saying yes. And that is that, and nothing on this one. Then on, I'll show you what it is. And then on 377, 377 Greenwich Street, I would just ask that you, at the third to last whereas, of the first warehouse on the second page of this resolution, that you divide up the 2 streets. It's very important to make clear that there's 2 streets here. So the applicant has agreed to the above revised floor plan where the roadway cafe on both Greenwich and North Moore Street.
Yes.
Have no more.
Yeah.
And then the whereas after that, again, that the applicant didn't decide, but agreed to remove the smaller section to the south.
agreed, yeah.
Okay, and I think those are the only ones I got here, so I think, and then on approval of road, I have 2 hands Tribeca, 251 Church Street. It's unclear to me, that's a very busy area, boy, you try to get by there with all the bikes that are on those benches. I don't know if anyone's ever eaten at 2 hands, it's lovely, but not easy to get around, but it doesn't indicate here that whether they applied to a sidewalk cafe, although they have a sidewalk cafe now, or they have some outdoor, one of those
They have
outdoor
a
jobbers. Yeah,
Enclosed.
enclosed sidewalk cafe, even better. So we have to confirm if they have one and, yeah, it's not indicated here.
Yeah,
And, I don't know if there's more here, but the Tempolinos isn't on this group, right?
No.
no, not as.
Okay, that's it.
Alrighty, so with, Tricia,
I just had a question about, 25 Brandy Library.
Yeah.
That's 5 steps up, and then they have outdoor space, and then you walk inside the place. Where is this application, where do they want to put these tables? I'm assuming it's up, right?
it's road bed, so it's on the street.
Well,
Their application is for in the street itself. Yeah.
okay, so I'll be the person that lives near there that says, you have to come down 4 steep steps, go across the sidewalk to that road bed. So the wait staff and that whole situation going to the bathroom may be a consideration.
Yeah.
No.
No,
Nope, sorry, did not care.
sorry, I mean, it's absurd. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, but, yeah.
There's a call for a question. Do I have a second? We're gonna take Elizabeth Lewinson first because you're here for attendance. So last name and vote, please.
Yeah.
Lewinson, that's a yes. So that applies.
It's, yes, we do, we said it in there.
All right. So
Said in there.
all others, it's a vote of affirmation. If you disagree, if you are either opposed or abstaining or recusing, raise your hand so we can call on your vote individually. Okay, everybody's a yes. Are there any no's? Mark,
No on 25 at Broadway, no on 1.
hold on, slow.
Wait.
Apologize.
Okay,
No on
all right, you are a no, you oppose. What was that again?
225 West Broadway.
225,
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm at the wrong thing.
you're on the wrong thing.
Right, apologize.
No, we're on licensing, please.
No on 1 through 8. On the, or license.
On licensing, you're a no on 24 Harrison.
All 8.
All 8, you're a no.
There's,
It's gotta be,
I see 1 through 8 on here.
that's correct.
We're taking 1 through 8 for licensing.
Well, but we're, yeah, where you could take even 4 with the
Hold on.
sidewalk.
Hold on, we've only gone over 1 through 8, which is what we're showing on the screen.
Right,
And that's what we're voting on right now.
yeah.
And Marcus said no on all 8. Are
Right.
there any others in opposition to any of these 8?
Yes.
All right, hold on, hands up, stay up. Charcuterie.
Charcuterie, no on 136 Broadway.
136.
Okay,
Wait a minute,
West
that's 134 West, where's?
136 West Broadway, correct?
Edwards.
With this, thank you.
No on 377 Greenwich,
That's,
Can you say your whole name or something?
Hernandez.
377 Greenwich?
that's the whole.
Okay.
Eric, you?
I abstain on all of them.
Okay, that's easiest. Okay, any, Tricia?
I'm gonna say no to 377 Greenwich too. That's a sightline problem in that corner.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a lot. All right, anybody else who's a no for any others?
Yeah.
All right, who's back here?
Thompson is opposed on 136 West Broadway, 377 Greenwich, opposed to 251 Church Street.
Okay,
Just to be clear, you said no, Tricia?
I said no to 377.
Yes, okay, not abstain, just no.
yeah,
Got it.
all righty. There was one other hand I saw in the room somewhere. Alice?
I'll be gentle here and abstain for 136 West Broadway, abstain on 31 Walker, and
Wait. West Broadway.
abstain on 251 Church.
So
Hold on.
that's
I'd like to.
your,
I'd like to suggest in the future we go one by one, it might be easier.
That much because it's been what,
10 more times.
okay, so hold on, Alice, you're saying 251 and,
Church Street.
yep, that's 251 Church.
And then 136 West Broadway?
Yes.
Yep,
31 Walker.
Oh, okay.
and 31 Walker. Okay, that's 3
Oh,
abstentions.
that, yeah,
Okay.
it's not up on your sheet there. There's just there, 31 Walker.
Yeah,
And what, yeah.
You've got 3. Anybody else in the room? Vera?
Yeah, oh, sorry, in the room.
Son of, abstains from, which side?
25.
25 Northmore. Hold on, let me finish in the room.
Okay.
Meltzer abstains from two hands, 251 Church. They need to figure out the bicycles. Thought over that.
But we should put it in.
Yeah.
But we could.
It's not sidewalk, that's,
No, it's
that one's
not.
roadbed.
Yeah, no.
Right. All right, online, Justine, your hand?
I'm gonna say no to everything, all 8.
There you go. That makes life easier, thank you. Do we have a page 2 for licensing?
I'm gonna take.
And so we do. Okay, here's
It's like,
liquor
let's
license.
do all the road beds.
Do we have another page of road beds after?
No, we're gonna vote on those. We didn't vote on those. Don't
We
do-
did, they're all 8
Oh,
together.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
We didn't do quality.
so, no, we haven't done that. This is by committee. So everything from the first 8 for licensing is done. There are no others, no recusals on the first 8. Fantastic. Now we're going to SLA licensing versus,
Correct.
yeah, next.
They're all pretty self-explanatory. There were no, great problems. We gave, just so you know, we gave 87 Walker Street till 2 because they've had it all along and we let it be. Am I correct, my committee? And then the one I want you all to know about as well is, the commercial, sports lounge. It is on the corner of Wall and like Beaver, that little triangle right across from the hotel. And he has another project, on Park.
Park, next to, with Park Place with, Trent Tails, that, right next to there.
And
That
we had
place.
some
Like
questions.
100 TVs.
Yeah, he has, gonna have 80 in that one.
Oh, well, only 81.
Oh, 80. And he has a good track record and, he agreed to the hours. We made some changes. On the issue of, traffic, it's not so much the cars. I want you all to know something with licensing, just so you get a sense of what it is. It's the after hours. It's when they walk out the door dead drunk and they come by my window. And I am 8 floors up at 3 Hanover Square. And you say to yourself, what the hell is going on? And they can't control them and nobody comes. And that's always the problem for all of us. And we want to keep people in business, but it's the other side of the coin. But this guy seemed okay and we agreed to it. He made some changes. Mark?
Recall for 87 Walker, we're supposed to have, verbiage in there about that the 2 AM doesn't set the precedent and everything's.
Oh, let's put it in.
Sorry, what's it?
It was 2 AM that we were giving them that because, and we wanted it because of their track record, and we didn't want it to set
Doesn't
precedent.
set a precedent and everything's based on a case by case basis. That's
He loves that, and I don't mind it. That's fine.
Okay, Mark,
question.
that is accepted. Please send Onej wording on that.
Okay.
A question has been called. Was it seconded?
Seconded.
Awesome sauce. All right, so let's take all of this together. Again, vote by affirmation. There are no latecomers to the room, so assuming everybody's a yes. If you're a no, please raise your hand so I can get to you on any of the applications. Are there any abstentions on any of the applications?
So did all of licensing.
We are doing 240 Greenwich, 7882 Reed, 87 Walker, and 1 Wall Street Court. Meltzer abstains from 1 Wall Street. Okay, are there any recusals? Hearing and seeing none, everything passes.
I'd like to thank my committee publicly.
Your committee would like to.
Yeah.
All righty, landmarks, Jason.
Oh, God.
Thank my committee publicly.
I'd like to thank Bruce for our amazing times together, Bruce. Not everyone will know how amazing some of these times really were.
7,400.
I don't remember. Anyhow, it was, tricky. Okay. Oh, this is the controversial.
This is the swimming pool. Come on.
So we reiterated our negative resolution for this space age building that you'll see. Next.
Well, this was important because.
Well, I don't even remember
Go
that.
back.
Oh.
There it is.
How important.
Vicky, do you want to help Jason out?
Well, I remember, you
Okay.
tell me.
Well, the context, the second slide was important because there's so much going on. There, yeah, no, second. Next, please.
There you go.
Next, please.
With spacing.
That's the one. You see,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on. And, everyone is so special in this corner, right?
Yeah.
Everyone. So now we have another special piece. So go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so
With
the
the
next
yellow.
slide,
Yeah, that's what the location is.
next
Is
one,
that-
one more, that was a previously
Wait
approved
for that.
project.
There.
So that was previously approved, then they are doing this
That.
iteration.
Oh, my God.
You know, it's,
Different.
remade, facade and all that. We didn't like it, and we listed our grievances about it, so, you guys make a decision whether you
Did
think.
they change it from the last time you already?
Very little, very.
Very little.
They took some screening off, really minimal.
And it's the height.
Same height.
They are legally allowed to do that.
And
Yeah, that's the, the limit of the deed restriction.
No, I know the neighbors were questioning that. It's allowed.
No, they
So they can question it, but it's, yeah.
Can you speak towards?
You have to speak towards because they can't hear you.
Okay.
No,
Susan,
I want you all to know it's a private swimming pool. It is not a public pool. Am I correct, Jason?
Yeah.
It's not in our purview, but
But
I
you
just
said-
want everybody to know that. And my view was always that they're gonna say they can't make it, top up the swimming pool, and then come back and wanna build a building. Even though they may not be able to, but I know they can't, but they're gonna have to do some, I mean, who knows, Bruce?
okay,
It's a
next,
tough spot. We didn't like it. Next one.
That's right.
No, I mean, that's true, right? You know, like,
We did.
maybe someone did like it. We didn't like it. Okay,
okay.
next one. So that was a negative.
Are we taking these all
I
together?
think so. I think,
Okay.
yeah, I'm pretty sure we can.
Okay.
20 Exchange Place. This is a lobby reno. No, I mean, a lobby entrance renovation. Facade, a great building, one of the greats. And they wanted to make the lobby more accessible by putting, instead of having revolving doors from a like 90s renovation, more like an airport style door. A lot of, easy coming in and out. They're gonna keep this not original, but existing kind of transfer here, and then they're gonna, this was a comeback. They made modifications. I think we liked them, and we felt like it was good enough, good enough. There's no great work of restoration here,
No.
but it needs to be done, I think was the point they made. Okay, so that one, we wrote a positive resolution. Vicky wrote a nice resolution. Right, the Farmers Trust Building, great building. Okay, next. Governor's Island. Okay, so we wrote a negative resolution.
Well, no, the scope is large,
Okay.
right? They're rebuilding sort of a whole bunch of entrances around the property. They are putting a generator in an enclosure, and they're putting mechanical equipment on each of the buildings, as you see, with one massive entrance that is shown there in the center that we went crazy over and would like everyone's support to see if we can get them to redesign this nonsense.
Okay, so, right, I
It's
mean,
all about replacing in kind, right?
Yeah, this was the.
Yes,
this is
yeah.
existing conditions. Let's see if we, I don't know how many.
Next one.
Okay,
This is the generator.
that's the generator.
That's the
okay.
proposed mock-up.
This is a building that's vacant how long? We don't know. How many years? 50 years? I don't know.
Isn't
Okay.
this the former school for the officers' kids?
Okay,
Yes.
so it's a good, how many,
That is
75 years?
No,
Now I'm asking.
no.
But it-
Maybe 50. Yeah, they left 20 years ago.
Okay, 20 years ago, and vacant, this is the part that we had a lot to say about. It looked kind of like too temporary for us. It has no reference to the Georgian style of building. It doesn't make the entrance feel grand. However, there was some talk back about how it's versatile and it allows for flooding and, you know, the water can go around it. I'm just saying, I'm just giving both sides. And so
Don't forget, it's perforated.
it's perforated, it's
All the
modern.
dirt will be trapped for.
That's
for-
right.
for-
That's right. We didn't care for, we didn't care for that.
Against this.
It's
Um,
perforated because of the water.
But that really came down to the materiality, right?
There are many ways you can skin this cat.
Can I ask
Yeah.
a strange question?
Yeah.
Which one is the one they're proposing, left or right?
The one that's.
The one that's proposed, yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's not on the right. It's building in time.
It's actually.
Glasses.
They drew it for.
Right, but it's meant to be a replacement of the original styles of the fan window and everything. So that's the great part of that's the good part, Alice.
What don't you like about the first one? I couldn't follow.
Go back
Yeah,
a
just go
couple,
back to
just,
your-
that's right, go back one more. Okay.
Yeah, so what?
So these are like, perforated, like kind of like stadium steps as far as, they're like metal. Am I misrepresenting? Yeah.
The steps, it's the purple.
Yeah, it's like kind of like how it clashes
Like
with
the
the.
material, you want to consider another material.
One person talk at a time, please.
Thank you, Carol.
So we wanted them to consider a different material. I think that's a very fair way to put it. So, and that was probably the most controversial part of this. Let's just go one more time to the picture back where the orange things are on the roof, and then everyone can just vote as they want. So back. That's, okay, all right. So these are mechanical things that need to be close to the building, that need to be on the building, that, you know, they're gonna have screens around them. You know, that's gonna be like the view that you would see them the most from. It seems like I don't think we had a really, really big problem. So when we talk about the negative parts of the resolution, we're talking about those steps not being enough of a, you know, tip of your cap to the Georgian building, okay? Campus style, whatever. So I think if everyone wants to vote for me on that, did we write a positive resolution or a negative resolution? I can't remember.
Support everything except we strongly encourage.
Okay,
that they go
yes.
back and redesign this.
Okay,
Let's do hands up in the room and online and pursuant to what Joe's saying. If everybody would stop talking over each other and talk to the owl so we can make sure everybody online hears. Francis.
So I think we saw at another building on Governor's Island, I don't know whether it was the Climate Center or their generators, they had stuff on the roof but it was nice. They made it nice. They
well,
put
this is
stuff
gonna,
around
that
it.
represents a screen, like, so that could be a nice metal screen. It's not gonna be a generator. Am I right, guys? Okay,
Yeah,
so
no,
it's
but
a screen.
keep going. I think we have images where they show what it's going to look
Yeah.
like, and no,
Let's say.
the roof, this is a mock-up, just.
Right, show the volume,
Keep going.
size.
Keep going. Okay. Those are just replacing in kind, and they're poor drafting.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
There you
Go back
One
one.
back. There you go. So the left is the mock-up, the right is the actual rendering of what it's gonna look like.
Well,
And the generator is, you know, about the design flood elevation within the enclosure.
okay.
I
Right.
mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. In summary, for me, as a preservationist, I'm not against so much the steps because they can be reversed. I really want to see this
Yeah, they're
building
not
get
permanent.
reused, obviously. So, you know, just personally, I hope that it goes, you know, forward, but whatever. Everyone should vote how they wish on all these really not terribly controversial items. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Hands up for questions in the room or any comments? Jeff and then Richard and then Alice.
I mean, I just want to clarify that the resolution actually is largely positive, and even the negative is strongly encourages them to do something else, as opposed to saying.
I think that's the right, that was
That's how we want it.
the room's feeling. So
I
if you
think
vote
that's
yes, you
appropriate
want it
based on
to
what
happen.
happened.
Yep, okay, so that's good. That worked out then. So we should take them all. If, oh, yes.
Richard?
So I need to disclose that I represent Charles Fall on the board of Governor's Island, and I'm also on the committee for the climate exchange.
Yes.
Before I go.
So you're upstairs.
So that
You have to abstain.
he does not have to recuse himself or abstain, but he has to disclose. So everyone knows there's no conflict because he's voting on behalf of the community for Assemblymember Fall. Right?
Okay.
Alice?
And I'm,
your representative.
Yeah, we
of
know.
Governors Island.
We know who you are.
Anybody else?
If you want more detail on this, there's the COI webinar tomorrow.
At 6.
Nicely done.
Nicely done, Zach. All right. Questions been called and seconded. So this is a positive affirmation for the work that was done by the committee.
Yeah.
So if you have are there any no's, oppositions? Hearing and seeing none, in the room or online, are there any abstentions? Hearing and seeing none in the room nor online, are there any recusals? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Landmarks, for good work. Let's go to the next committee.
Waterfront products. We did all of them too.
All right, waterfronts, Andrew, it's you.
So no resolutions, 2 reports. The first one, I'm sure there's a great deal of interest. We spent an hour and a half. I'm not going to spend an hour and a half tonight. I'm gonna
Thank
invite
you.
you to go look at the recording. There's a lot of information. Essentially, we received a report from the CEO of the New York Climate Exchange. The report was broken, and I'll invite colleagues to supplement anything I'll miss, but essentially the report was broken down into structure of the exchange, status of the programming, and then we got an update on the campus construction, including some renderings and a timeline. And if we can pull up the timeline, I think that if we have it. If not,
Yeah.
I don't need a lot of slides. I just think showing the timeline of the campus construction, because I think that's of great interest to this. In terms of structure, they are operating, they have a board, they have staff. They are a separate and distinct entity from the trust. They are essentially the leaseholder and the trust is essentially their landlord. So in terms of climate exchange related questions and issues going forward, we're intended to direct them to the climate exchange team. We did suggest that perhaps we get them on a quarterly rotation to come before the committee to make sure we stay current. And in part, that was stimulated by Alice's question regarding the timing of some of the design and next steps regarding the campus. Don't have it? Okay, that's fine. In terms of programming, they are live. They are running programs currently. Some of them are happening on the island. Many of them are happening off the island. And you can see those events and their programs on the site. In terms of the campus renderings, we saw renderings of new construction, which sort of the Yankee Pier area. Again, some folks really enjoyed or had a positive reaction to what was presented. There's also adaptive reuse. Is it Liggett Hall? Is that the adaptive reuse space? Right.
Yeah.
Which will be sort of temporary housing for students and faculty and perhaps others visiting for the purposes of climate exchange programs. I forgot to mention in relation to their structure, they highlighted a pretty robust group of partners that were both broken down by academic institutions, sort of environmental nonprofits, and then they have some corporate sponsors. I think IBM was one, and there were perhaps 2 others. So that's sort of a headline summary.
Who's funding this? Where's the money coming from?
There's a huge donation by a former member of the school of I can't remember now, I'm blanking on the name of the university, Stony Brook. So Stony Brook has had, to kick off, it was an immense amount, I can't remember the number exactly, it was one of the critical funders for this, kind of launched it, as I understand it.
And there's an element of fundraising that's
Yes,
going
okay,
to be.
but it's not federal money.
I think there's going to be sources of money from a lot of different channels that haven't been fully.
There is
been
some
identified.
Some.
And we asked about, given the climate, to the extent there is any federal support, are they concerned with it being at risk?
Okay, thank you.
They didn't have an answer, obviously, to that question.
Okay.
I don't think anybody does these
No,
days.
nobody.
All righty.
So the next one, Alice alluded to this, and so we got an update of the Burial Ground Memorial Foundation. Again, this is a 501c3 entity working with the national parks. So I'll just read their mission statement. we weren't quite certain exactly what the messaging was intended, what were the intended messaging, so we've asked them to build out more of the process and perhaps any ask they have in the community and come back to us, particularly as it relates to the status of the museum and was it 22 Reed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So their mission statement, the African Burial Ground Memorial Foundation is dedicated to promoting and advancing the African Burial Ground National Monument Site at 290 Broadway in New York City. The site is a National Historic Landmark and the oldest, largest known burial ground for free and enslaved people of African descent in North America. Working in partnership with the National Park Service, the mission of the ABGMF is to lead efforts to preserve both the site and the monument, as well as advance the educational, civic, and programmatic opportunities related to the site significant to both New York City and American history. They have a board. I think they have someone involved with social media / marketing, but definitely still an entity that's developing.
Do we know how they came to be? Because they didn't even know about the event we were having.
Right. So there are 3 board members at the moment. We were, I think, the gentleman that was presenting to us was the secretary. Alice, I don't know if you have a view as to how they came about it. It seemed to be, I don't want to say informal or ad hoc, but it was tough to follow some.
They came to us a few years ago and we have a resolution, in fact, that kind of defines who they are or who they were then. And there's a little bit of confusion because there was somebody who had an African American collection of art that wanted to have this position in this museum. And then there's the idea of the actual museum that our government is, has legislation about, right? Schumer talked about it briefly at the event, which I thought all too briefly for my taste. And so this is why I asked, our representative from Golda's office to kind of clarify really where this is, because it wasn't clear from his presentation. So I'm reticent to answer that because I'm not sure.
But your event did come up. We asked if they were aware of it and there wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, so I mentioned that to Park, because people were calling me about that. So I mentioned that to the people at Parks, at the event, and they were like, I don't know who that was either. Like, we don't know who they were.
So if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time they are coming to us as an established 501c3 with a board and now more of a mandate and mission, but it was very early stages in terms of that mandate and mission. So,
All righty. Anybody else have any other questions? Andrew, thank you very, very much. Let's move along to quality of life, aka licensing 2 this month. And in case anybody wonders, we are not the only board under this situation. We're actually a little late to this party. If you talk to CB2 and CB3, they have no less than 2 licensing meetings a month. And at some point, I think their wait list, they were like over 50. So we're rolling. Who's gonna take this one? Francis, you're gonna take this one? Or Mariama? Mariama. Okay.
Are they in the same order as they were at the meeting,
I have not a clue. I was on vacation. I was not there.
Do you know them?
They're not, are they?
I just want to confirm that this last one, Capolinos, is the one that we had the most problems with.
Oh, and Walker.
No, the one we had problems with this, sir, was Tribeca.
Yeah, Serafina had the 130.
Okay, so we're gonna take Serafina separately. Let's just make sure that comes out.
Serafina Tribeca. Serafina Express was okay.
Walker.
Serafina Express is okay. Serafina Tribeca, which is 113 Reed, which on your agenda is number 4. We're gonna take that out separate.
Yeah.
What was the other one that you said was controversial? Peppolinos?
281 Broadway.
And also Walker, 16 North.
And Walker, but we worked those out, I think.
Okay, so we're just gonna take those 3 out.
Yeah.
Let's just make life a little bit easier for you.
Okay.
All right, so these are gonna be questions for, ready? 225 West Broadway, 185 Duane, 259 Front Street, 30 Broad Serafina Express, 135 West Broadway Chinese, and 71 North Moore, Smith and Mills. those are the ones we are taking together. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 applications, and the other 3 we'll do separately. Does anybody have, Alice, anything that you'd like to add? 6.
Just a question on 30 Broad. Again, it doesn't state whether or not there's a road bed that's being applied for.
No.
No, there's no road bed, so let's add that so it's clear and reported. No objection, Mariana? Okay, then on,
Six again, I'm sorry, I didn't follow.
Numbers on your agenda, 1, 2, 3, which is Tara at 225 West Broadway, Hideaway at 185 Duane, Cowgirl Seacourse, 259 Front, Serafina Express at 30 Broad, Tiny's at 135 West Broadway, Smith and Mills at 71 North Main.
so just one more while I'm on the roll here. It's approval of a roadway cafe for Tiny's, but in fact, you're showing a sidewalk cafe and it's referred to as a sidewalk cafe, so is the,
That might have been a mistake. Which one is this?
Tiny's, just change road.
Oh, yes, that is the sidewalk.
Okay.
I knew I made a
So
mistake.
that's a typo on there, we'll fix
Oh,
that.
yes, you've done a great job.
No, Tiny's is not roadway, Tiny's is.
Sidewalk.
And, you put this on our list too. Oh, yeah, we'll get to this separate.
Okay, so for those 6, does anybody else have any questions? Tricia?
I have to accept, turn down one of them. Do I do that now or later?
Nope, during the vote. Okay. Anybody else have any, Eric?
So would they have a roadway dining and then there's a bike lane? Will there be anything to alert the cyclists that people can be coming in and out? patrons?
DOT decided that that was perfectly acceptable, both state and local.
We don't have to do that.
Yeah.
SLA,
Let me
yes,
get you.
SLA and DOT.
That's it.
Yeah, that's.
As, you know what, that's a great quote. That, the changes to that law will be written in blood. Right.
Yeah, they will, absolutely.
Anybody else have any other questions on any of those 6? Do I?
Call the question.
Second.
Okay, so thank you. It's a vote by, I know who to look at if I need a call. Okay, it's a vote by affirmation for this. Are there any no's? If you're a no, raise your hand. Trisha Joyce, what is your no?
No, on Terrace Roadway.
Okay.
Okay, so that is number 1, 225 West Broadway. Trisha Joyce is a no. Are there any other abstentions? Mark?
No on 225 West Broadway, 185 Main,
Okay,
and 259 Front.
Okay.
And when,
1, 2, 3.
259 Front? Really?
Roadway, it's a roadway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, it's not a
I
roadway.
didn't know that one yet.
Wait. Oh, yeah, it is.
Cowgirl Seahorse?
Yes, yes.
it's a roadway.
Yeah, okay.
And Brendan.
It's practical, yeah. All right, Eric?
I abstain on 1, 2, and 3.
It's just,
Okay,
doesn't vote on them.
Eric, we're now on abstentions. Eric abstains from 225 West Broadway, 185 Duane, and 259 Front, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Abstentions, Mr. Zelter?
All right, I meant to vote no on the roadway act, or roadway.
Okay,
I
so
guess 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3 for roadway, you're a no on all of those, correct?
Yes.
No roadways.
Gotcha. Okay, any other no's or abstentions in the room? Thompson, I can't see you, my friend, you're back there. So what are you a no for?
Thompson, no on 225 West Broadway.
Okay. And Joe Lerner. Joe?
Sure.
I can't hear you, my friend, you're muted.
No on 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Hearing, is there any recusals?
On 2.
Sung recuses from the Hideaway. Number 2.
Vera.
Yeah, Vera. All right, any other recusals? I'm gonna be looking behind me. Okay,
All right, so number 6, Walker's,
let's take Serafina Tribeca first, because that's number 4.
That's the contentious one. You want to do that now?
You wanna do that last?
Oh, it's contentious with everybody here.
It just can't happen.
It's just was potentially.
We can't do this. I just figured we could get rid of walkers because the problem was.
Okay, Walker's is first then, 16 North Moore. Guys, I need you to be quiet. So
Very large street grid in front of walkers, and very little sidewalk space. Not only because of that street grade, but in part because of these huge planters that we have, and then the overgrown plants that are in those planters. So we had to remove some seats. They're also going to be moving the planters, reducing the size of the plants that are in the planters. And that will give people more room
Sidewalk.
to not push them onto the grade for those that would like to avoid it. Because otherwise wasn't enough space.
And the applicant has agreed to all the changes as discussed.
Yes.
Okay, so does anybody else have any comments on Walkers? This is just Walkers. Okay, so we're gonna take this vote solo.
Call the question.
Second. Great. All in affirmation. Are there any abstentions? Meaning, are there any opposition? Sorry, I'm a little punched out there. No, I see no oppositions online or in the room. Are there any abstentions? Seeing none online or in the room, are there any recusals? Walker's passes unanimously. Next one. Which one do you want to take next? Serafina or Peppolino's?
Peppolino was the one with the subway and coming around
Road bed
the
and
road
the
bed.
sidewalk.
Right.
And too much.
Yeah, they wanted too much space. There was.
280 visits.
They might be too close to the subway, but not according to the DOT regulation.
Yeah.
The subway was too far away, and also it exits in the opposite direction of the restaurant, so we couldn't consider that in what we were looking at. But we did have them also reduce some seats and come to a more realistic.
281 West Broadway we're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I don't see where it says, have 4 tables with 9 chairs. That's exactly the number of the tables they have. And in fact, boy, do I know that corner well, because I live on it and it's impossible. I mean, it's not just we left that restaurant. You can't get to the subway. They have those sanitation containers.
They rearranged.
That I said that to all of you, but
Yeah.
well, that needs to be memorialized in this resolution.
It was no longer like that by the time that it came to us.
No, it's like that this morning, so it's there. So the sanitation has to be recorded that they have to remove that from the street. They have to put that inside their thing. They have their sanitation
Well,
on the
that's,
street.
yeah, so we do have to just note, I don't know. how
Just to
we're
say
gonna-
that-
At the meeting,
Yeah.
they reported that their garbage is inside and the garbage that was exposed in the pictures, it belongs to the residences in the attached building. It's not their garbage.
It's not their garbage.
I'm not buying that. Okay, well, then we should record that and say that the garbage containers they are claiming are not theirs, but they need to be removed.
And that their garbage is in
Their garbage is inside.
And that their
We'll
garbage.
have to call about that, we'll know. And 2, I think we should be removing this, I don't know what you removed, but this table that's jutting out into the sidewalk with 3 seats just doesn't work.
All right, let's start with first things first, so I can understand and for clarity for those of us who weren't there. The residential sanitation containers, right?
Sanitation tables, we don't know what they are, yeah.
Right, are where in the diagram?
They are.
They're downstairs.
They're right here. They're on
Downstairs.
the-
No, there's.
They're on the
there's
south
right out
side
there.
of their cafe.
So what we are saying is where you have the restaurant entrance, right?
there.
To the right,
Mhm.
there is a location that has sanitation taking up the sidewalk.
That's correct. There are 3 containers there, I think. Say 2 or 3, I'm not sure.
2 to 3 residential
I
containers.
think they're residential. We don't know if they're commercial, but
They're-
they're alleged
Right,
they are.
according to the applicant, they
That's
do not belong to them, they belong to the residents in the adjacent building.
right.
Also, what I left out is the applicant has created like a semicircle, an arch. Right, so that the seating is no longer straight across and in the way and obstructed, but it comes in closer to their restaurant and goes around like this. And that was one of the other things that led us to.
There it is. But
supporting it.
guys, if you want to see a picture of Peppolino's with the
Oh,
garbage
that's
cans, there you go. And that fence, what you're seeing and the walking, that would be, if you add the table that they're showing here, it would be pushed out further. So, but you can very clearly see the sanitation there, and the subway you can see is right. You see the subway.
DOT regulation, it was
Right.
talked about, and also the stairs, as you can see, it exits in the opposite direction of the restaurant.
Of the
So those-
restaurant.
Those are the reasons why we wanted to consider that. Again, they dismissed the garbage because they said that didn't belong to them. And they have
The people in the building.
this new semicircle where the seating is going to go in closer to the restaurant so as not to be obstructive. And as long as no cops park on the sidewalk, which is what was talking about, it should be fine.
Been there forever.
Really, I just realized, I don't think that.
Okay, so let's talk about what we need to put on here to send to DOT to be clear. We're gonna put that the community board is concerned about the
Buildings garbage.
about the building's garbage that is overtaking the space in between the restaurant.
The stated
So-
buildings garbage, we
Stated.
don't know whether
It's a
it's
buildings
in.
garbage, you just don't know.
We don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
the building.
The sanitation containers that exist on the south end of
Yeah.
the
Appear to be
sidewalk
part of the
have a-
building.
Right, all right, and so,
Something else.
yeah,
If you guys look at my cursor here, this is where the establishment
Yes,
ends.
but the property doesn't end there really. I'm sure the property goes to where that roll down. unit
Sure,
plus 2
but
feet.
this is where the establishment
Right.
ends, and this is what is being considered
Ah.
by DOT. So from here to here is what is considered
Pepolino's space.
frontage.
Okay. So the picture that we're looking at, which is old, from the point of the upper fence there to the right is completely empty now because they're not allowed to be on there. That's not their property.
Correct.
Which will provide some space in between the edge of where they have their tables and the garbage containers, or the garbage containers will spread out in the whole space.
And they've created the semicircle thing.
Yeah, which I
And
don't
so
think they should do.
this,
I don't understand.
did they have pictures of the semicircle?
No, this is your.
Drawings.
Oh, yeah,
Supposed to get.
guys,
The semicircle is only there because of the tree pit. Without the tree pit, there is significant clearance. There is a 10-foot clearance without the tree pit. With the tree pit, they only need an 8-foot clearance. With this semicircle, they have given a 10-foot clearance, which is 2 feet more than they're required to get.
okay.
Okay, I just would like to add, if you accept it, that there is concern that this is a well-trafficked corner under 20 feet from the AC and East subway train. I think that we need to go on record in case we have problems. That's a very difficult corner. I can tell you this doesn't work. For every tourist that stops you on the corner to ask where they're going to get to downtown, this is really untenable, but
No, I'll happily accept it.
I just want to make sure we
The larger
record that.
concern is gonna be the private parking, because that's something that we can't do anything about. Cops can park on the sidewalk if they wish to, and that's the way that goes.
Yeah.
So,
We're gonna put a note in here about, no placards or what are they, marked vehicles?
you mean they're not allowed to pull up on the sidewalk where they are, and that is very true.
Parking on the sidewalk, we're gonna put in here, the CB has concerns. It's such a high traffic and pedestrian traffic.
Okay,
Yeah, all right,
thank you.
so with those,
there's a question back there.
Tricia,
Talk about Serafina yet.
we didn't have next one. All right, Justine, hands up. Is this about, 281? Justine, is it Pepolino's?
Muted myself. No, I'm quiet. I made a mistake. I didn't mean to put my hand up. Sorry.
So am I mistaken, or did they have outdoor seating at some point in the last year or two? So is this a proposal to expand it or just more formalize it?
So this is the proposal and the application to go within the, they've had what they had outside on a post-COVID emergency order benefit. It has to be changed to comply with DOT rules, which is what we're looking at now.
So are they proposing to expand what they have been operating?
It's a change, it's a shrinkage.
Yeah, this is a lot less.
It's not really a.
It has to be, they extended past their landline. DOT is making them stay within the landline now.
Yeah, it's not as many.
It's not, they're gonna lose a little bit. Okay.
Question?
Oh,
Second.
all right, this is again for Peppalinos. Assuming everybody's yes, Joel, stay put for this vote, please. Are there any in opposition?
Thompson opposes.
Oh, you opposes.
Okay, hold on. Thompson, you, anybody else?
I'm abstaining.
No, this is just for opposition. Anybody else in opposition? Okay, now, any abstention? Blank abstains, gotcha.
Cole abstains.
Cole, Sung abstains. Portia Corey abstains.
Brown Kennedy abstained.
Oh, boy. Brown Kennedy,
Wait, Portia Corey also, right?
yes.
Got it.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any other abstentions on this application for Peppalina?
Chia abstains.
Kuchia abstains. Okay. Anybody else? All right, motion passes with 2 in opposition and 6 abstentions. And Mr. Capel is departing for the evening. Do we still have quorum?
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you.
So the last one, Serafina Tribeca, was the most contentious because they have a capacity inside of over 200. And they
Yeah.
wanted
And they're
over
taking-
130 seats outside.
And a roof,
No.
and a roof.
And a room.
And the
Yeah.
road.
And a room.
It's a banquet.
So there were a couple of DOT laws that, strangely helped us, because a lot of times they work against us, their regulations. But in this case, based on the number of bathrooms that you have to be able to, like,
Have
bathroom
maximum
per each,
per-
every 14,
Right, right.
basically. So because we have to look at the totality of what they're gonna have, even though DOT regulation also says we have to separate the roadbed from the, sidewalk. We had to consider them together and consider the capacity of the restaurant inside, because we had to consider how many bathrooms they had. So they had one ADA bathroom that was on the lower level. The other 3 bathrooms, you had to walk upstairs, a flight of stairs to get to.
bathrooms?
3
Stalls,
separate
like
individual
the
rooms,
rooms,
but
yeah.
only one located on the ground floor.
And then
that
one
were
for
ADA
staff.
compliant and accessible. The other 3 were upstairs.
But they were,
in
the
any
one
case-
was for staff. It
No,
was
and
two of us.
in addition, she had made a mistake. She said that there was only 3, there was 4.
I'm trying to keep.
And based on the total number of bathrooms, even though only one was ADA, they could only have a total capacity of 286 persons, I think it was. And so that allowed us to chop it down, and they weren't happy initially when we chopped it down. They said they were gonna go to some kind of hearing, and we said, go right ahead. And then they said, oh, okay, what if we said you can have 30 seats. You can pick where you want to have them, split them up, whatever, you can have 30 seats. And they said, okay, what if we don't do a hearing and we agree to 40 seats? We said, DOT lets you, then, against their own regulation, fine, 40 seats. So they withdrew one of the applications, we settled at 40 seats on the other application, and it was done.
No, it's not
Okay,
that.
so it says the application was willing to prioritize sidewalk by withdrawing the roadway cafe application. So I think we need to ensure,
Correct.
first and foremost, that there is,
No.
that in this thing, in this application, where we have that they have agreed to withdraw the roadway application, we also need to say that if they choose to proceed, we deny the roadway application completely.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with you.
Because I think that based on what Mariama is saying, if I understand correctly, and I wasn't at the meeting, we need to ensure that we've gone through all the proper processes, and we know that there are 2 applications before us. Roadbed, they haven't seen that they withdrew it yet, correct? So we are in this resolution voting
On sidewalk.
on sidewalk and roadbed. It's a full denial of roadbed, but an approval of sidewalk, knowing that they withdrew their plan to withdraw roadbed and so we are
Yeah, we
approving.
had the owner and their representative, the lawyer,
Right.
voice we're withdrawing.
So when we put this in, it's an approval with conditions, and the conditions are all of the things that are listed.
40
which
seats,
includes the denial of,
all of it.
okay.
Can I ask something?
hold on, we're gonna go to Mitch first and then to Alice.
Isn't one of the conditions, I mean, I had to work some of that at the meeting, but if they're also gonna withdraw the Reed Street, side for the,
Yes.
walk out.
Yeah, they will take it, they're only gonna have, they're gonna rearrange that.
So that has, okay, so that has to be a little bit clearer in the therefore be it resolved. So it's, you know,
Even though the active Reed Street is really not West Broadway.
okay, so we're gonna add, before the final therefore be it resolved, we're gonna say that we deny the roadbed, right? And applicant said they were withdrawing. Okay,
Yeah.
and that we deny the Reed Street sidewalk, correct?
No, they rearranged it.
You just want to reference that too.
They're not having any seating on Reed at all, correct?
Correct.
So there's no seating on Reed at all. And agree, remove it, okay. And so agreed to withdraw. And then they are taking 40 seats on Broadway, and that's it.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely, Alice.
Maybe for the lawyers in the room also, what is the agreement? Is it forever that they can't apply for a roadway cafe, or in 4 years when
No.
the next round comes?
We would just have to say that based on the history and the community needs and taking up space and all
No, the answer is, roadway is seasonal, they can apply next year as well, they can apply every year that they want.
Right.
Sidewalk cafe is basically a permanent thing, it's like it used to be, and the difference now with sidewalk is, once you approve sidewalk, it's, 365 versus seasonal, so it's a full year thing. So if the weather is nice in November, they could stick some umbrellas and tables outside. If it's nice in January and we have a spring day, they're outside. Betty's next, and then, Daron, and then back home.
I'm concerned people are getting really lost in the weeds rather than just getting to the point. I want to clarify, and it's, therefore be it resolved, we're allowing X number of seats and the number written. And if they're going to be on sidewalk cafe.
Yep,
But also be it further resolved that community board will no longer accept any other roadway or sidewalk seating beyond that because of the limitations of the bathrooms.
That's a great way to express it. Thank you. Perfect, Betty. Daron?
So a comment first. I recall this location being difficult, like a couple of years back, like when they were going for the Reed Street ones, and I remember saying to one of you guys, oh, this is their opening bid, and I'm glad they knocked them back down. We'll just have to keep doing it every time they come back. Amendment on West Broadway, therefore be resolved at the end.
It's West Broadway?
Yeah.
Yes. You're right, that therefore be it resolved.
And
That's
what happened with the rooftop? I wasn't at the meeting either.
There is a rooftop.
Yeah.
There is a rooftop. It is unrelated to these two applications. It is embedded within their liquor license. And where we saw it there.
And the department.
DOT could care less about
the buildings in terms of occupancy.
Hold on, Tricia. Mitch was next and then you.
Okay, sorry.
Since they're withdrawing the roadway application, could we eliminate the next to last whereas where it says the hours of operation of the roadway will be?
We would change it to say there will be no hours of operation as roadway cafe.
Okay, as long as you do something for that one.
Oh, that's supposed to be sidewalk, my bad.
Okay, so that's changing the out, instead of roadway would be a
Sidewalk.
sidewalk cafe on West Broadway. Thank you, Mitch, for catching that. Who was next? Tricia?
I'm just looking at the existing, yellow, outdoor seating area that they have that goes the full length of their facade.
You can't.
Did they give a drawing on how this is gonna be reduced to the 40? No, what does it look like? How did they get there?
They have not sent an updated floor plan, no.
So do you have to say yes to this now then, or do they?
Yes, because that's what DOT offers us as an opportunity. And if they agreed in the meeting to it, so they have to provide we can put a note in here that applicant promised to provide updated diagrams based on community board agreements.
Well, they have two, board tops next to each other at the facade. This, in my view, is the problem, because what happens is there are two enormous bike parking stations that
Yeah.
also run along the facade.
What's that reduced that?
They're saying, Trish, they reduced it. I thought.
Reduce what? The seating?
Yes.
But the problem is, if they reduce the seating, keeping the, two tops width, it's not gonna really help us much. What it's gonna do is keep us as squash when I say there's 3 feet max, maybe there's less, and you have a really heavy.
They provided diagrams, so if we're limiting them to 40 seats, we could say that we want it all into one line, because according to their diagram, they fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is great. They have two sides on.
They fit more than 10 tables, so we can ask them to limit it to 1 row of seating.
Yes, so I think it would be better in this, I live on that.
40 seats.
Yeah, so.
On West
Right now,
Broadway,
they've got
1 row.
two tops like this, right? And it's sticking out this far into the sidewalk, and then 3 feet from this shelter is a huge 25-foot bike rack. So you've got all the commuter traffic going somewhere, you're in a single file. So if they were to reduce that, to 1 four-top, they could still go the length of the facade.
1 row of tables for the length of the facade for 40 seats.
Exactly.
Got it.
Then you're gonna get 5 extra feet. I think that's.
I don't see the bike rack on their diagrams that they show.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's their bike rack or if it's a city.
No, it's a city bike rack.
I think it's a city thing and it's not used, it's just in the way.
Does it make a difference whether it's used or
It's
not?
like a structure.
Yeah, those is the art.
Bike rack, but it's something.
So,
You can see that.
okay, guys. Whoa. The question becomes from the committee, if they are in compliance with distancing from the bike rack, because that's a elevated bike rack, it doesn't count as a grate.
How many feet do they have to be from the bike rack, Sammy?
10, and they have it.
From the bike rack.
They have it with 1 row of seating
Yeah,
on West Broadway.
this line is 10.
So they are in compliance and they are only doing 1 row. No, that's
I
1 row.
think at the time of the meeting, they
1 row of 4 tops.
being certain as to how they were gonna do it, because the reason we got to this was that the sidewalk, we could have delayed, but the roadbed, we had to look at that night. And so that was why we had to just lump it all together and accept 40 seats, not necessarily knowing where they're gonna go.
Susan, you're next.
So I just want to make sure I
You're falling
understand.
behind. Yeah.
So those 2 are going to be reduced to 1 all along.
Those 2 could be a 4, where you see 2 twos, that's a 4 top.
Right.
So it's just 1 row against the building with a max of 40. What you're looking at on their diagram is far more than 40 right now, but that's not how many that they would have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you want to have an understanding, 2 of those tables are going to be removed from somewhere along that stretch. Because we said 40. 1 row of tables up against.
How are they gonna weight those tables?
They're gonna weight them from the inside.
That was all the questions.
They have to come in, okay.
All right.
They have to come inside.
Hold on. Jeff has called for the question. And it was seconded. And I think we've looked at the diagrams. We have all the limitations. We've included all the comments. So vote as your desire. It's a vote for affirmation. So let's go. For those opposed, this is an O vote. Meaning, are there any in opposition?
Thompson first.
Thompson,
You votes no.
anybody else? Lewinson,
I don't have enough information, so I'm gonna,
are you abstaining or are you?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Okay, and looking online, are there any in opposition or an abstention for those who are online?
Lerner abstains.
Thank you, Joe. I'll do abstentions in the room in a second. Anybody else? Perfect. All right, in the room for abstentions. Corey, Blank,
Curtis.
Rossi, Curtis, Rossi,
Cole.
Cole.
Hold on, Ross and.
No, I think it's like.
Who? Who was that?
Son. That's 11. All right, anybody else? How many do we have so far? What's the current count?
You said 11.
What's the current count? What you got?
How many people do we have?
Yeah.
38.
Meltzer abstains. Okay, so we are, yeah, we passed that. Passes by a nudge. All righty, let's move along. Thanks, everybody. I mean, really, I know, but this is what we do. So thank you.
This is why it's so important for all hands on deck.
Yep.
Because we need this feedback.
Absolutely, Anesh.
So these, we're not getting enough time.
Yeah,
to
that's
review
true.
this, even like in the office, for me, it's like a really short time. That means it's gonna be an even shorter time for you guys, so I need you guys to please keep an eye on your email.
Yeah.
So when I send them out, you'll be able to review. Thank you.
And
And
then
please come to the meetings.
Yeah, come to the meeting and quite frankly, walk on by, as the saying goes, go walk on by, see what's there, see what's coming. If you don't agree, don't feel bad, just either abstain or vote no. It doesn't make a difference.
Also take pictures so that we
And
can
take
compare.
pictures. Yeah, exactly. All right, so with that, let's move along to Mr. Galloway. Thank you.
Okay, it's after 9 o'clock, so.
Yeah, let's rock.
We have one resolution, but before we get to the resolution, I just wanted to highlight one of the items on the agenda that's not a resolution. For the rest of you, watch the YouTube for the rest of the subject. And that is the dog run upgrade project. There are 3 dog runs in Battery Park City. 2 of them are going to be subject to upgrades. And the authority is seeking interest in being part of the working group. So if you are a user of either the Kowski Plaza Serious Dog Run or the North End Avenue Dog Run, please contact me, or if you're a member of the public, contact the CB1 main office and volunteer yourself, because work will start soon. So that's that subject. So let's go to the resolution. And I think, Anesh, I think the next slide may have resolution things on it. All right. A lot of text to read there, so you want to read it. And it looks like there's probably another slide after that. As most of you probably know, security in Battery Park City is provided by the authority for most of the public space in Battery Park City. The area is occupied by Brookfield provides security for those. The security contract is up for renewal. There's an outstanding RFP. The response dates were actually a few days ago. And so we took the time at our committee meeting to sort of highlight our priorities for security in Battery Park City. And the resolution basically asks the authority to accommodate these priorities in their new contract and discussions. Pam, you have a question?
I do, on the very first one. I'm a little confused because they are supposed to, my understanding, the Allied Ambassador crew, do the PRA Plaza because that is managed and controlled by Battery Park City Authority.
And they do.
Wouldn't this then read, the geographic site of security should include all outdoor areas of Battery Park City plus PRA Plaza and the community center at Stuyvesant, which they do, except the areas controlled by, like, to reverse it, to put the exception at
That's
the end?
fine, that's fine. If you want to change the word,
Because
that's what it means.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine.
Yes, sorry.
I don't need to go through all the priorities for you. But basically, we want to expand the geographic scope to include some things. They focused on the park areas alone, and we want to expand that group. We want to make sure that they have enough people on patrol that in known hotspots where there've been violation issues, that there is a security person, a uniformed security person within eye shot of everybody, there. Few of the, hotspot, areas. And we wanted to make sure that there's a sufficient number, they're known as special patrol officers. These are peace officers who can actually make arrests and issue summonses. The RFP calls for a minimum of 11, but historically they've had a hard time maintaining that 11. And so we want to specify that the contract and the budget needs to accommodate that 11. Yes, Tammy.
Andrew has a question after that he wants, and what I didn't notice, I'm gonna go just one question, where you put continuous training and
Yes.
funding. I think one of the flat issues that they have or have had from the last RFP when I read it was there actually wasn't a fiscal ability to adjust salaries as the contract. Like if it's a 5-year contract, nobody gets a raise for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So why would you stay in that contract? You'd use it to get all your training and then go, stand inside the Native American Museum because you're doing the same job, but you can.
All right, so budget to accommodate, certainly at a minimum, cost of living increases, but reasonable raises during
Yeah.
That's good.
Exactly.
I would accept.
Andrew?
Just going to say, and Jeff, maybe you addressed it with the comment about resources that can actually arrest folks. For the last several seasons, the number of incidents have just overwhelmed the ambassador's ability to really maintain any kind of control.
Yeah.
And I know DLL went to precinct 1 to ask for some visibility, and they parked a patrol car out outside the field, and it changed overnight. So I don't know what element of that can be factored into this process.
Well, one could be, we've identified the ball fields as a hotspot where somebody should be there throughout the time that they're open, but maybe we should specify that that should be an FPO, which is a person who can make the arrest.
I don't think anybody wants to see another child being chased by a guy on a bicycle.
Yeah, exactly.
Through the ball field.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Anybody else? Anybody online?
The question?
Second.
Awesome. Vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed?
Isn't this the last?
No, this is not the last one. Alice is one. All right. Are there any abstentions? Hearing and seeing none, neither in the room nor online. Are there any recusals? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. All righty. So Jeff, do you have anything else to report?
Nothing else to report. I encourage everybody to watch the YouTube and look at the Battery Park City Authority report that they give every month. Lots of interesting information in that.
I might also say, if you are at all interested in any of the news from Battery Park City Authority, I highly suggest you sign up for their newsletter because as we have thus learned and has noted by Alice and Zach and our electeds, if you're not following them, you may not get their updates. And that puts me to Alice. Last committee.
Yeah, so quickly, always good to give the entire finite Seaport Master Plan at 9:15 at night. But anyway, let me just say that if you have any comments on the North Battery Park plans, we have this public notice from the United States Army Corps. We'll be reviewing them. So if you have anything you want to tell the United States Army Corps, we are not doing a resolution. We are doing a letter, leadership. That will attach our previous resolution on the DEIS, the draft environmental impact statement that states all of our concerns, and we think that'll be adequate. If you have anything you want to add to that, please go ahead and email Zach. So in reverse order on the agenda. And now justified Seaport Master Plan. I have a few slides. What EDC came and showed us updates of 3 areas. Oh, there were, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna, breeze through this, that maybe I'll, it's certainly worthy of your time. These are major projects, and I would encourage you to do all the things that we always talk about, go on YouTube, look for the presentation. So, the main updates were from, you can leave that for a second. So basically, for anyone interested in the timing and what's happening here, thank you. basically, they're at 30%, they're looking to be at 30% design for the base infrastructure and 10% for concept design. And the best I can understand that is basically infrastructure versus what are these buildings gonna look like? What is this landscape gonna actually look like? So this is a year that we should be, reviewing these pretty carefully. And then in years to come, 2026, if all goes well, we'll be looking at environmental review. Next slide. Okay, oh, do I do?
I have an ad in the correction.
Okay, so this is the previous design that you've all seen, or you might recall, and these are the three areas that they concentrate on, and they added in the battery so that we were reviewing the battery for the first time, publicly, okay? And here is the changes. So you look going at the south, you'll see the new Whitehall and Governor's Ferry Terminal area, and obviously much bigger. You're going to see the regional ferry terminal, that's changed, but basically the same. And then another change is that we've added a pier, Pier 19 at the north there, and we've removed Pier 15. And I'll sort of zero in on that. So this is the Resilient Ferry Hub. That's the new hub. So that's what it looks like today. And that's what it will look like tomorrow. And that's one whopping building on the left. As you can see, it's a 6-slip terminal that has 2 slips for Governor's Island that I think Tammy alluded to the fact that they'd like more, and so they're looking to have 3. And then Staten Island has those other 4. You've got the Battery Maritime building in between, and you have the heliport. The building that's up against on the land side for the heliport is a pump station with a 2 or 3 story concession and entry, as I recall, into the heliport area. And then you see just North Regional ferries. And there's a huge amount on all this. I'm not going to go through it. So the next thing is the seaport piers, right? Up in the seaport, they looked at that. So these are things, again, that are updated changes that we asked for. So you'll see that goes to the image on the left, is the Pier 15. It's now being removed. That's that Industry City with the 2 double-decker lovely pier. That's out. Pier 16 is going to be widened, and
Pier 15, we're losing the
I'm sorry,
public.
you're
gonna rip down the red pier?
You're losing public access.
We are losing public, passive recreation space, open space.
Relatively new.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait.
Well, then someone
How
pay
are we
attention
free to build?
come to these meetings, yes, so, and they have reasons for it, and we don't have time at this hour to go over them all, but it's important that you pay attention, that's for sure. Pier 16 will be widened and moved to the south slightly, with allowing for more maritime frontage, and then Pier 19 is being added, that's a brand new pier that is allegedly replacing Pier 15.
But it is a commercial pier.
Well, that wasn't what they said this time at our meetings, just to say. So I guess that's up for grabs as to what will be commercial, what won't. But anyway, yes, important. Okay, oops. This isn't going. I don't know what happened there. Did I do something wrong? Okay, well, okay, there we go. So the last part that they looked at was the south tie-in at the battery. And this was big news. So what we have to do is see the purple line up at the north end there?
Yeah.
That's where we've seen the Battery Park city plans, right? And they come into the park and we've reviewed that a lot. And then you see the red line at the bottom, that's the Fide Seaport alignment or flood wall. The 2 of those points have to meet at the high end, right? And so that's what we were looking at for this meeting, which was all new. We saw a leadership meeting and we'd never seen any of this before. So here it is. They have a number of alignments they've reviewed. We're going to they're settling in on alignment 3. It's a very long presentation. This was a whole meeting's worth of stuff that is also on YouTube. And what you're looking at here is this alignment. So follow the green, that green swatch is where you're going to have this alignment or flood wall. And the flood wall is in parts buried and not. And the G is for the 5 gates that will be in that wall in Battery Park. And the impact will be against the carousel, the urban farm, many trees being removed and the like.
So
So,
a 6 foot to 15 foot wall that is partially submerged, but you're basically ripping through all of the lawn space and everything that's there.
so there'll be a public meeting about this on March 21st. We're obviously from this north, but I would attend it because they're really looking for input and I think it's important that we give it. So that's something coming up.
And the urban farm, by the way, is
Gone, right?
gone.
I think that's very fun. And I think that's it. I think that I'll leave it there. You know, I would say one thing that's very to do is to take a walk on the east side between 21st Street and like in the 30s to see all the new Lower East Side deployables. You can see the deployables, you can see the walls, you can see what's to come. It's quite impactful. So anyway, that's it for me. Any questions?
Yeah.
Right, let's go.
So,
Hi, good luck.
So I'm gonna be the Alice of licensing for EPC. I absolutely think what is missing is a huge vociferous voice about the lack of public space.
Yes.
We're losing Pier 15, which is our only pier that 3/4, 2/3, I don't care what measurements you want to use. It's a beautiful open air space that people can sit on, and we're losing it. And there's no replacement for it. The replacements are all mostly commercial use. So I think that we need to argue, me personally, that we want to retain 15. It is one of the newest ones. And whether or not the bottom floods, fix it to allow it to be a park space. Because otherwise we have nothing but commercial zones from everything that they're doing. There's not one pier that is being put forward for active or passive recreation space. Everything is commercial first, and maybe you can get a little green strip of Band-Aid.
It's gonna be the.
So,
What do you want in the resolution?
So I want the resolution that Pier 15 should be retained as a public.
Let me continue and finish with the resolution. The committee voted not to yet write a resolution on the design and only on the support for money, which EDC was busy asking us to do for the continuation of this project and the research towards the project. And thank you, Jeff and Zach, for writing this. You'll see that resolution as the last page in your packet. That's what we're voting on. Just a minute.
But I would make
The
it
next-
contingent.
The next, I hear you, and that's a good addition, but the next meeting at the EPC, assuming we have time, is to review exactly what you're talking about, which is the design. So then we will have another resolution, and I encourage you all to come, or if not, please send Zach and I your thoughts about what you want and what you don't want to see.
I still think that we should make the funding contingent on an
Yes,
expansion.
I agree.
of Active and passive.
I do not agree.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, good.
I mean,
It's not the resolution that we voted on,
But I don't,
and I don't agree to the change.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I kind of in your camp. too. We need money. The city budget is being debated right now. And if this $15 million isn't put into the city budget, this project will likely be delayed by at least 2 years, if not.
forever.
Well, it may be forever
Maybe so.
anyway, but and we address this in the resolution, the funding cycle for the federal funds, we're gonna need to do this, comes every 2 to 4 years. The next one comes in 2026. If they don't complete their environmental review and they need this $15 million to do so, we're not gonna make that.
But Jeff, what they explained to us was this is 30% design for anything that goes in the water. Once they are done with this portion.
Yeah, but we're
there
gonna
would
comment
be-
on that next month. I mean,
But-
that's the time, because I mean, to your point, they didn't, there's no programming for Pier 19. And we can certainly specify that that needs to be public space. That needs to have at least as much public space as we lost from Pier 15. But that wasn't discussed. The programming, in fact, they said all these places don't have programming yet. So,
But
I-
they
I-
take advantage of
I
it.
think
They
it's a-
lie to us all this.
I think it's a slippery slope if you
Yeah.
don't put your notes in, saying that, that within the funding, you want an expansion of,
Yeah.
public space, because what they said to us in the meetings was that the last meeting where they came and lamented about funding, they said, but we're adding 8 acres of public space. And I asked Jordan very specifically, I said, do you consider sidewalks public open space? He said no, and that is all that they have added in the land extension. Once you get their water plan approved, we will not be able to retain Pier 15. None of those kind of conversations. So this is they are linked financially with whatever they're doing on the environmental assessment in the water has to do with also public space.
I don't disagree with those comments. What I disagree with is whether it belongs in this resolution, because there's lots of things I think we want to say about the design that they presented to us, and we were planning on doing that at the next meeting. This is, if we just say funding, then that has just say public space, that has priority over everything else that we might say. Maybe it is our number one priority, but I'm not so sure that it will be our number one. There's lots of other things that will be of secondary importance.
But if we're not saying that the funding is important to put that in as a priority, which I don't see it anywhere here, it's all about the funding cycles. You're basically saying.
That was intentional, because we're not commenting on the design in this resolution. We're gonna comment, you guys can rewrite the resolution.
I just want to add a note about the funding should include public space.
So how about on your second, therefore be it resolved, this is your forte, Jeff, to wordsmith this, but CB1 reaffirms its support for comprehensive integrated resiliency efforts in Lower Manhattan. And our support, I think we have support that's very specific to the expansion of much needed public space.
That's fine, that's fine. If you
Is
can.
that kosher and feel comfortable?
So long as what we're saying in this
That's what we're
resolution
saying.
does not imply that the funding should be rejected if that is not already incorporated.
I don't think that's the point of anybody.
Yeah, I don't think in that sense we're implying that, we're just saying.
The audience is the city council and the mayor for this. We need to have this money in the budget.
I don't want it to be contingent on anything.
Okay, but we're not.
Not saying that.
See, we're saying we're
The way
reaffirming.
you described it doesn't sound like a contingent.
For resiliency and for our, I think that we could say safely, we all would like to see more public space on the west side, on the
That's like
east side.
saying we all want motherhood and apple pie.
There we
Well,
go.
dream on out.
Thank you. Okay, so I think, does my committee accept that?
Yes.
Okay, and then.
I'm not on your committee,
Okay,
so.
so- okay, thank you.
Before you vote, because I've had my hand up for a long time.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate the sentiment of what's been presented, is that the meeting, I heard what Jeff heard, is that, yes, there's lots to comment on the details, but I think the amount of seriousness, we have to be unified to say, we really want this project. And there is real risk, because as we know, there's no money to build this right now at all. So at one time during your presentation, Alice, you said this is today and this is tomorrow. I think that's a big, it's so theoretical right now, because the probability of this getting built, because it will take federal money to build, is so slim that I'm with Jeff to say we really want to emphasize that we don't miss the window 2 years from now when the federal money comes up. And the team that was presenting said that they are out of money right now this summer to even keep working on this. So I didn't hear that in anybody's talk tonight. So I just want to change the tone of like, well, we don't like this. It's like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I agree with all what we want, but at the end of the day, we want a flood wall. And because this neighborhood was devastated during Hurricane Sandy. And I just didn't hear that tone tonight. So I have to say I'm sitting and listening, but I want to make sure that I'm with Jeff. This is about funding and not missing the window. And we can figure out the public space and all the other things we want, which we all want. But the tone of it needs to be a lot less critical and a lot more supportive in my mind.
Well, I apologize if for some reason I was critical in describing the 3 places that they were updating us on, but that was what the presentation was to our community board, and that is what I reflected, in addition to the need for the financing, which has in fact been accepted as a resolution in our committee. So I think that's sort of apparent. So hopefully everyone, and I really appreciate you underlining that point. And so I think we're good to go. Can we vote on this?
Yeah.
please?
Second. Okay, Mark, it was called.
Want to go, you go first.
No, I was calling to question.
Oh, I go.
I want to respect.
In all the discussions that happened at the Brooklyn Bridge Beach, it all come up. In any discussions.
Yes.
What was discussed?
That's that's what we have to have further discussion and
Yes.
design conversations.
But they recognize the importance of a step down.
They do, and they are looking at it very carefully, and they even showed images in their appendices that deal with that northern portion.
But is there a movement afoot, because
Yes.
the powers that be are always against it? Is this been revitalized not to do it again?
Not to do what?
Not to have.
Ignore it, not.
Oh,
The usage and type is something that needs to have a lot of charrettes and a lot of dialogue, because there have been things presented, not in the public realm to us, but to the CCLM, which is the Climate Coalition, which is the smaller working group, about making not necessarily a beach that the community supported, but a place where, like, oh, maybe it's a marshland overlook, which got squashed robustly by the public who was there. Maybe it's a kayaking place, if anybody knows. Aid says she hates kayaks. So, I mean, there needs to be a lot of robust discussion, quite frankly, Mark, for anything that is going to be public, active,
But
or
we're
passive.
clearly on record that we want the beach accessible to be able to walk on it and dip your toe in the water. And I don't want some climate activist telling me I can't do that.
That's what we're working on next. Agreed.
But that's next,
See,
that's
all
not
right,
now.
Could we, what are we voting on now?
Voting on the resolution as it stands in front of you, or?
Well, you made something to make a change?
I made one change, which
Just
was I thought
repeat what
accepted.
that is?
CB1 it's the same exact sentence as there, I just added to it. CB1 reaffirms its support for comprehensive and integrated resiliency efforts in Lower Manhattan and its support for the expansion of much needed public space. CB1 recognizes the vital importance, the continuation of that sentence.
That sounds
Is
fine.
that okay? Okay, so again, it's
Second. It's roll
All
call.
right, roll call people. Amoruso,
Yes.
Blank,
yes.
Brown Kennedy. Cameron,
Cameron, yes.
thank you. Cassell,
Cassell, yes.
thank you. Okay. Thank you. Chapman,
Chapman, yes.
thank you. Charcudian,
Sure.
thank you. Are y'all standing up?
We're gonna straighten up.
No
Not yet. I need to be able to hear all the votes.
All right, all right.
Don't make me mad, Cole.
Yes.
Thank you. Foreman,
Foreman, yes.
thank you. Kucha,
Yes.
thank you. Curtis,
Curtis, yes.
thank you. Flores,
Yeah.
Lauren, yeah.
thank you. Flynn, yes. Friedman,
Friedman, yes.
thank you. Broman,
Roman, yes.
thank you. Galloway,
Galloway, yes.
thank you. Hernandez,
And then yes.
thank you. Ershad,
Ershad, yes.
thank you. James,
James, yeah.
thank you. Joyce,
Joyce, yes.
thank you. Kay,
Yeah.
thank you. Lerner,
Turner, yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Munson,
Yes.
thank you. Lyon,
Lyon, yes.
thank you. Meltzer,
Yes, thank you.
thank you. Minsley,
Inslee, yes.
thank you. Moore,
Moore, yes.
thank you. Pandya,
Pandya, yes.
thank you. Portia Corey,
Yes.
thank you. Robinson,
Robinson, yes.
thank you. Rossi,
Rossi, yes.
thank you. Shear, Jimmy Song,
Yes.
thank you. Verison,
Yes.
thank you. Thompson, thank you. Townley,
Townley, yes.
Meltzer's explaining.
you,
Yes.
thank you. Zelter,
Yes.
all right, and then Meltzer abstains. Okay. It passes.
Okay, thank you very much. It is 9:34. I want to thank everybody. We will see you at March. We have lots of robust meetings. Please remember to try and be in person for quorum unless you have a verified disability. And on that note, we call it adjourned at 9:34. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Everybody.
you. Have a good day.